Hello, everyone. Welcome to Rogue City Rumble Qualifier Day 2. I'll be one of your casters, NinjoOb, and with me is Sugo.
Hey guys, yep, today's my first cast and really excited to do the second qualifier here. I think we're going to have some really good matches today.
Yeah, so just to recap what this event is, right now it's the qualifiers. We have an open bracket, and the top four will make it to the main event. The main event is next month. The first seed out of this qualifier will be able to choose his group in the next event, in the main event rather, next month. So it's pretty important. Stakes are pretty high. Yesterday we had Boa, Kraazy, Red Duck, and Striker advance. But today, I think looking at the bracket already, I think there's still some big names that are looking to advance today.
Yeah, and yesterday we had some intense matches, right? We got to see Kraazy and Boa go at it. I think those were some really good matches. I think on the other side of the bracket, Striker, people were saying he had a kind of an easy way through or whatever people were saying. And I don't think that's necessarily true, right? Striker still played just. Those were some pretty good games. And I don't think he dropped a game until the final. So it was a great turnout yesterday. And hopefully today can be just as good or better.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I think, I mean, even if Striker did have a slightly easier bracket, I think it's no. I mean, no one would argue that he doesn't deserve to advance from this group stage. So no surprises there, really. So looking at the brackets, can we get the brackets on stream? So we have quite a few players. I think a lot of people from yesterday. Well, a couple of people from yesterday that didn't make it through. Most notably, I would say maybe Models, who went out in the first round or second round, is back. Dragon is in this qualifier. He wasn't there yesterday. Father, Nesh are both back for more. We have Whip, who signed up, who's a pretty strong Terran. Who else do you see, Sugo?
Yeah, I mean, I see Gypsy in there. I don't know people's like challenge bracket names, so I'm just assuming it's not a fake. But Gypsy's in there. That's actually really great to see. I see Cheese King. That's typically Michael, right? Kind of an older American Zerg player who usually uses that alias. So that's why I'm saying. I mean, is it the same Michael that I think people in the scene may know? That would be super interesting because Michael's a super strong player. He was at the LA LAN as well. He's not too active, but when he's active, he's solid. And yeah, I'm excited, especially as a first round matches here. Notably, I would call out probably Dragon versus Raz, and then you see Gypsy versus Michael too. So already you kind of see quote unquote stacked bracket towards the bottom. And then on the top, still you've got notable names: Tim, Whip, Hawk, and then they would go into Models. So still pretty balanced, I think, compared to yesterday. But I would say the bottom is a little bit stronger. What do you think?
Oh yeah, I definitely agree. But yeah, and there's also there's quite a few names that I'm not too familiar with, so I'll be curious to see what level of play these unknown, well, players that I'm not familiar with are going to bring to the table.
Yeah,
Uh,
definitely.
yeah. So yeah, I wonder which matchup we're gonna get in the first round. I wouldn't mind Dragon versus Raz. We haven't had a PvP yet.
Yeah, so it looks like we will get Dragon versus Raz as a first cast, everyone. So that'll be super exciting as a first match here. Um, and then it'll be Dragon versus Raz ZVP. And yeah, what do you think about that? What do you know about the players, Ninju?
Well, I know Dragon's a pretty good player. I know Raz is a pretty good player. I didn't know that Dragon was going to play ZVP though. That's a little bit surprising, but yeah, I mean, in any case, I'm sure it's going to be a great game. I look forward to getting it started.
Yeah, Dragon is he does the race picking, so he plays PVT, PVZ, and then he plays ZVP. So that's his one matchup that he picks. Um, and he's super good, solid ZVP. I wouldn't expect any tricks coming out of it. He's like your standard macro type of Zerg, and then and I think Drag's very well known in the scene, but super strong player, one of the best in North America. And then you've got Raz is actually very strong as well. I think Raz has the potential to do some things that could throw a player like Dragon off, right? I think Raz has certain builds that he may do that could throw off quote unquote robotic Zerg like Drag. So I'm excited.
All right, we're going to get the game started right now. Let's do it. Okay, so right here in the bottom right, in the pinkish Protoss pieces, we have Raz.
And then at the 11 o'clock, we've got Dragon as Zerg from Canada.
Right, so right off the bat, I mean, these players are probably more on your level than mine. So can you tell me, I mean, I think you said Dragon's going to probably play standard macro straight up play, right? I think that's what I would assume as well. But you said Raz might throw some funky builds out there. So did you have anything specific in mind?
Yeah, so I think, Raz probably knows Drag's strengths. I'm sure he knows, a lot of the top guys. I think we all know each other and we kind of know how each other plays. I would say that Drag's real strength is the late game. Once it gets into the late game, Drag's macro, decision making, game sense is super, super strong. Even me as a Protoss player, I don't want to play Drag in the late game. So if Raz is using that same mentality, I think he would go for aggressive builds, something quick. And you see that off the bat, he's going for a 9 gate. And it's important to note he went 9 gate, not 10 gate. And the difference between the two, you would think, is nominal. But you actually get the Zealot out roughly 6 seconds faster between a 9 gate and a 10 gate. And that can make the difference if a Zerg goes 12 hatch or 11 hatch. And ironically enough, he's going 11 hatch. So you see, like, already from the opening, some things are kind of happening that can make a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. I think yesterday in the qualifiers, we were following a lot of ZVPs, and quite a few times, Boa, I think in particular, was opening with the Gateway first, pretty much all the time, and his Zealot Harass seemed pretty strong.
Yeah, now in PvZ, the Forge opening is a little bit, it's not outdated, but even the pros like Bisu and Best and some of these top guys, they're heavy advocates of gate opening. And so that's why we're seeing it so much more often.
So what do you think? I agree completely. I used to, when Pro League was still a thing, every ZVP, I mean, it was pretty much Forge first, right? So now, like you said, it's almost always gate first. And I mean, what do you think are the pros and cons of both openings?
Yeah, so for the gate first, you're gonna be able to be the aggressor as a Protoss, and that's great because you want to try to keep the Zerg drone count down when you can, right? You want them to force Zerglings out. You want to see if you can snipe even one drone in the beginning. That's actually pretty big. And Raz actually may have an opportunity here to do that, though 11 hatch is actually quite good against 1 gate, which is what Dragon did, so the Zerglings pop when you get there. Also unfortunate that it was cross map. So let's see what the Zealot can do here. But as I said, getting 1 drone kill is really good, and if you can get that, it's kind of good for you as the the Protoss, and getting behind the minerals, Zort, and even players like Larva, right, Pro Zerg, he says as a Protoss, if they get the Zealot behind my mineral line, the Protoss is already ahead. Like pro gamers kind of say this.
Hmm.
And that kind of makes sense because as a Zerg, you're probably wasting 3 or 4 Zerglings to kill the Zealot behind your mineral line. So already you can kind of see that.
Yeah, it's definitely a huge pain. Those zealots are, with the shields, it's very painful to get rid of them. But looks like Dragon did that pretty easily, and Raz still trying to sneak maybe a zealot around, but so far it looks like his gate opening, his gate first opening, has been largely, well, I wouldn't say thwarted, but maybe just you know dealt with relatively easily.
Yeah, so from Raz's perspective, he made, I believe he made 3 Zealots before the Nexus, or sorry, 2 Zealots before the Nexus. Nexus standard. It's standard when you one gate, but the problem is when they're cross map, and he got a scout in, so he knew it's 11 hatch. You actually, as a Protoss, may not want to get the Nexus at 21. You actually might want to get the Nexus a little bit earlier because you may know that, okay, I'm not going to get much done. So I think that was a little bit of an oversight. But Raz still making something done here. Can he get a drone kill? That would be awesome if he gets a drone kill here.
Yeah,
Oh, Drag doing a good job. Oh, awesome. 1 drone kill. So these little things add up because as a Zerg, you feel pressured and you may think, okay, wow, do I need to make more Zerglings now? Do I need to stop making drones? It adds up. And you see Drag is going for a build that Kraazy did yesterday, which is 5 hatch or 6 hatch before any tech kind of thing. Really common nowadays against one gate. And that's because if you can pressure with Hydralisk really early on against a one gate opening, it gives the Zerg a lot of kind of freedom and flexibility, and it forces the Protoss to have to get to storm early. When in fact, when you open one gate, your intention is usually you want to go, Citadel, Zealot speed, and try to pressure. So a lot of these builds, players know how to counteract them nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, as we see another drone going down, me and Shafir were definitely wondering that was even an oversight. Getting that many hatches, I definitely was not aware of that new build, but it definitely, I mean, he eventually lost the game, but it definitely seemed like a strong build too.
I think Raz is doing a pretty good job. He's gotten 4 drone kills so far, if I'm not mistaken. That's pretty good. At the cost of 3 Zealots, though, so you always kind of have to, right? So you're the Zerg player, you're like, wow, I lost 3 drones. But Drag's like, okay, I lost 3 drones, but to 3 Zealots. So, right? So you're always thinking about the basic math as you're kind of doing this to figure out as a player, hey, am I actually behind or not?
Yeah, it definitely seems like I don't know if you'll agree. I think it seems rather even right now, even though Dragon's already pulling ahead in supply, surprisingly.
Yeah, it's not that even. I would say I would actually say Dragons, he's pulling ahead here because we're approaching the 7-minute mark now, and a typical Zealot speed timing attack should be at the Zerg's front steps by 7:30 on average. Okay, and the problem that I see right now is Raz may actually make it at 7:30, but he shouldn't, in my opinion, be doing the attack this way because he saw Drag's build. He knows Drag went hatchery first, heavy hatchery first. He knows Dragon will be heavily prepared for any Zealot timing. So we'll need to see. The key thing will be how will Raz choose to go and attack? And then also, if you notice, Raz wasted a lot of minerals on cannons at his front line, a bit hastily.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I was gonna ask you about these cannons. Did he think maybe he was gonna be get Hydra busted soon? I mean, each cannon is the same as a gateway, right? So I mean, it delays, that sort of gateway explosion off of 2 bases that I think we usually see in PvZ.
Yeah, and as I was saying, kind of a key timing is around 7:30, but it's past 8 minutes now, and Raz hasn't really made a play here, and instead he's loaded up on 4 cannons, and I think he realized, wow, my timing attack won't do anything here. So I think he actually realized, and that's why he didn't go for anything, which probably is a smart move because he knows, well, Drag's obviously prepared. So I think he's changing his game plan a little bit. and just teching up. I think that's the right move.
Yeah, it definitely seems like any kind of attack wouldn't get much done right now, as Dragon just has a solid defense too. I mean, I think he's just waiting for those DPs, right? He has a ton of overlords, ton of hydras. The hydras are just covering the overlords. I mean, I don't really see what Raz could do with like a relatively quote unquote basic Protoss army.
Yeah, absolutely. And key thing that we just saw, the Corsair died. It died to a few Hydralisk at Drag's main ramp. That's important, actually, that it died, because Raz needs that Corsair to continue scouting because he needs to know, will the Zerg switch to Mutalisk? That's really important because now, if that Spire goes down, I mean, 8 Mutalisk could destroy Raz's entire timing attack by picking off Templars. Obviously, he has time right now. He knows that Drag doesn't aspire right now. So this might be a decent time if he wants to make a move. But Drag's smart guy. He might say, okay, well, I killed the Corsair. He doesn't have any more Corsairs. Should I switch to Mutalisk? That could ruin a Protoss day right there.
Yeah, definitely. The muta switch is something that for me is always, it always seems strong. Yet you don't always see it. And Raz moving out here, there's storm, decent storm. Um, in any case, I mean, so what is Raz gonna do? Like in particular, relating to the timing of his third base. So right now he's on 2 bases. When is he gonna take a third? Is he gonna take a third? I mean, what's his game plan?
Yeah, so right now, at the 10-minute mark roughly that we're at, Protoss should actually be ahead in supply of Zerg. And we see, actually, that's not true. And we actually see that for most of the game, Drag's actually been ahead. And that's why I was saying Drag's kind of been ahead, kind of from the get-go after some of the Zealots didn't do anything. Raz, though, is going for a 2-base all-in, it looks like. He's stuck on, I believe, 8 gates right now, strong 2-base, 11-minute mark approaching. I think Raz is doing the kind of all-in 2-base, 8-gate, wait for +2 attack, and just go for it. And this is kind of what I was saying at the beginning for folks who just tuned in. Drag is a super strong late game player, macro machine, great game sense. You want to try to kill the guy early, honestly. And so maybe that's leading to Raz's decision to go kind of all in here in a way.
Yeah, it definitely seems like it's going to be a 2 base, and doesn't seem to be much of a plan to go for a third. But I mean, yeah, like you said, Dragon's just a Zerg's economy can get out of hand really quickly. With the drone hatch, if you can spend all your larvas on drones and get away with it, that's crazy, right? The other 2 races don't have that possibility to just pop out 10 workers at a time. And I feel like Dragon really sort of got away with it. He really navigated the game, deflected the harass.
So this is going to be crucial time right here, right? He's choosing to go up the ramp against lurkers. I think he should pull back here. This probably isn't going to go too well. And if you look at the army of Raz, right, the composition, it's not the strongest army, right? You're looking at 10 goons and 10 zealots with like four Templars. Typically at this point in the game, around the 12-minute mark, +2 should finish. So does Raz actually have +2 completed? Okay, Raz went 1-1, which is also something that a lot of Protoss are doing nowadays. But 12-minute to 13-minute is imperative moment for PVZ because Zerg Hive is going to probably finish around 13 to 14, and you want to try to do something to the Zerg before they have Hive. And you saw Drags already, I think the Hive is 50% complete, if not more. Yeah, so he's had it started for a while. So Drag right now is just playing defensive. Drag's like, you know what? This guy doesn't have a third base yet. I'm on 4 bases. I'm up economically. I don't need to do anything. And Drag's kind of taken that approach here. So the gameplay right now is in Raz's hand, and Drag's just waiting for him to make a mistake.
Yeah, definitely seems like that's the case. I mean, Raz is taking a third. Now, is the pressure back on Dragon, do you think? I mean, he's ahead, and he's been ahead for a while. When do you think Dragon's going to make a move?
Yeah, so I think Raz right here, because he switched his whole gameplay in a way, right? He was almost going 8 gate, 2 base, all in, semi all in, and that's fine. That's actually kind of standard in some sense nowadays. But usually behind that, you will do a double expansion as Protoss to kind of come back into it, right? He took a super late third. You kind of usually take a third and the fourth while you defend. So that's one thing I would have liked Raz to do. And a second thing I would like Raz to do probably is a guy like Drag, you don't want him to get to 60, 65 drones for free, which is effectively what's happened this game. Some shuttle harass, something more to throw the drone count off would have been nice. But now you see Drag's blowing up, almost maxed out, even before the Protoss.
Yeah, like you mentioned, I'm surprised we haven't seen, Templar harass. I know that's all the rage right now in PvT, but uh, yeah, Templars, Reavers, something. Looks like he's trying to force his way in here, but he's going to be met with a lot of Zerg, and some of it is on the high ground. Let's see how it goes. A big storm there on the left. That's huge.
Yeah, I mean, Raz might be able to do a little bit here. A lot of lurkers kind of in a good position though. I think Drag's gonna hold this easily. And you see, I mean, even the supplies, Raz dropped down to 130. Drag's still sitting pretty at 150 plus. So easily defended by Drag. That's a tough position to attack from. The it like concaves in right between those two cliffs. It's not an ideal spot for Protoss to try and attack. And actually, Drag just had defenses everywhere. Raz is in a quite a bad position. It was kind of ever since like the 7-8 minute mark. Drag just his lead just kept growing and growing.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know where Raz could possibly attack. That's not a bad attack. Either you take a fight uphill at the third, the middle only from behind, or you go in between everything where he went, and looks like he's getting stuck against the wall here, losing a couple more units. He's really on the back foot now, and I think Dragon might just steamroll him all the way back to the natural.
Yeah, I think we'll see GG here very shortly. I think few things Raz could have done. He knows that the Zerg didn't have a Spire. You have to throw in a shuttle. Even drop 2 DTs in the main. Do 1 HT drop at the third on the drones, right? Little things like that would have added up, especially knowing there's no Spire. And we should see GG here anytime. Yep, there we go, GG. And another thing I would have liked Raz to do is if you switched your plan to defensive, you've got to take the third and the fourth together. So that would be
Yeah,
my feedback.
yeah, absolutely. I think Raz definitely had a plan, and it did pan out, and he had to change, his direction on the fly a couple times, and ended up just, couldn't make it back really in the game. I think, yeah.
Yeah, that build that the Zerg did, Drag did that game, right? Hatcheries into tech after that off of low gas. It's a good build against 1 gate. And I mean that's why I think Kraazy chose to do that build yesterday too, right, in one of the games. So as a Protoss, in my opinion, if I see that, it's low tech, late tech by Zerg, late lair. You're gonna have a late spire. You got to get a shuttle in there. That's a good way to combat that.
All right, so now we're gonna move on to the second game. This is a best of three. We're on Eclipse now, two-player map. Do you have any thoughts on Eclipse in general and in PVZ?
Yeah, I think in Eclipse, it's I actually personally like Eclipse in PvZ, but you got to be careful with the high grounds there. I think if Zerg can kind of get on the high grounds and set up lurker contains, or if you as a Protoss get contained outside of your nat, you're not breaking out.
Yeah, it does seem pretty rough. Um, I've played it in TVT, and yeah, you don't want to let the other guy set up on the high ground that overlooks, the area between your natural and your third. That's definitely hard to break. Also covers, it doesn't cover, you're not completely contained, but it covers a lot of ground, and you give up a lot of map control if you don't have control of that area.
Yeah. I'd like to see Raz this game, right? Because it's elimination for Raz here. So I'd like Raz to try and really shake it up a little bit. And I say that not because I mean Raz is a strong player, but you have to also put into the count. You have to know who you're playing. Truthfully, right? I think the favor here is clearly drag. So you need to throw in something here that can throw a player like him off. And I'd like to see Raz do something a little funky here.
Yeah. So up here in the top right, we have the blue Zerg. It's Dragon.
And then at the 7 o'clock, we've got red Protoss, Raz.
Yeah, so I think I agree. It's definitely up to Raz now to do something to throw off Dragon. I think, like you said, your prediction was definitely accurate. Where Dragon's super solid, it's like a robot, just goes to the late game, doesn't solid against everything, gets away with an economic lead, and that's really hard to come back from. So yeah, we'll have to see what Raz goes for. It looks like might be another gate first.
Yeah, it looks like a 9 gate, right? He built the pylon. He didn't go back to mine the mineral. So it's probably going to be a 9 gate. And see, I'm curious to see. I don't know if Drag will go 11 hatch. Be overpool. Yeah, it is. That's interesting, right? So it depends. I mean, I actually think that Drag might have guessed that Raz is going to do gate opening first again. I think Raz does it often, and so do a lot of Protoss, right? But I wonder if Drag is going to go all in for a quick kill this game, like heavy ling, just kill the Protoss right off the bat. If the Zealot, if he loses like his first Zealot, that'd be interesting if Drag does that.
Yeah, it might be a possibility. Do you think Drag is a player who will, kind of make those kinds of gut feeling decisions, or do you think he's just gonna really just stick to his guns and do the same build over and over until he loses with it?
That's funny you say that. I think in a tournament setting, Drag is the kind of safe, but I wouldn't sleep on him in the sense that if you mess up, like Probe just lost really early on. That's bad, right? Someone like Drag would capitalize on that. He'd say, wow, this guy lost his Probe already. He's in the dark now. Time to make 10 Zerglings. And that is really tough as a Protoss, because then you don't know what to do with your opening Zealots, if you should get the Nexus on time, right? And you see Raz, he's just going straight for the Nexus. Fortunately for him, it looks like Drag's not doing that. But imagine if he did, would have been kind of scary.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about Raz's position here. Losing the probe so early, I mean, now he's stuck back. His Zealots are just going to sit here for now, right? And then does he have to blindly get cannons? I mean, it seems like he's in a pretty tough spot without, the constant Zealots heading over, and, they're harassing, but they also are scouting, right? They figure out what the Zerg's doing.
Yeah, and so compared to last game to this game, if you recall, Raz was pretty active with the Zealots in the opening, right? He got like 3 or 4 drones. This game, Raz is a little bit more tame, right? Because he knows I lost. I don't know what he's doing. Could be flood of Zerglings at my base. But Raz is in trouble. He lost the probe early. He doesn't know the gas timing. He doesn't even know if Drag is going for gas. He didn't see anything. So he's in the dark. So as if I'm the Protoss here, yeah, you probably need to get the second cannon a little bit earlier, and you pretty much have to go Stargate. 100%. You have to get the Corsair out there as soon as possible, and that's kind of your scout. But we see Raz going for 5 Zealot or 4 Zealot push out here. I think 3. Okay, sorry. I think that's good. And it's funny, Drag is being distracted by this probe. He hasn't seen the Zealots go through. So I feel like Raz planned that. That's actually a really nice move.
Yeah,
I think
I was gonna say that's really sneaky. The Zealots are actually gonna get to the base unimpeded, and they're gonna, start. Or are they gonna block the ramp and go? Oh, is that so? This is actually pretty interesting. Now I think this third base is in a lot of trouble with the Zealot blocking the ramp, and one Zealot just being able to deny the drones from mining, right?
Yeah, this is a really good move. This is gonna force Drag to a position of hey, I need to make more Zerglings now. I can't just keep droning up. So really good move by Raz. And I actually like that he went with the 3 Zealots, because when you go with 5 Zealots, it's actually common to do this with 5 Zealots. See, his 4th and 5th are moving out now, but Raz actually went early. I really like that move. Zergs know when you're going to come with the 5 Zealots. They have their link ready, but Drag wasn't ready for the 3.
Yeah, definitely it seemed like it caught Dragon off guard, and now still unable to do much. These 2 Zealots are gonna head towards the natural, it looks like. There's quite a few links waiting for him though, so let's see. Can he get one Zealot went down? There's no sandwich. The ones at the natural are getting attacked here. Tries to go into the main. One gets in, one gets denied. Probably gonna go down. Yeah, there it goes. Heading for the natural. The main mineral line now. Let's see if we can get anything done.
So this is still really, really good for Raz. He sees that the Zerg has stopped mining gas. That's actually super important. So he says, okay, wow, this guy's not mining gas. He's going to probably be doing the same thing as last. And in fact, Drag is doing the same thing as last game, or trying to do the same thing as last game. So now I'd like to see, did Raz kind of learn from last game, hey, how do I beat this kind of hatchery build versus a 1-gate?
Yeah, that's definitely true. I mean, I hadn't noticed. Yeah, he's still sitting on his hatchery, no den, no layer. Yeah, the first Corsair gonna take out the Overlord. I guess he can afford to, since he doesn't need to scout much, right? The Zealots saw pretty much everything that was to be seen.
Exactly. Usually as a Protoss, that first Corsair you get, you're going to Corsair straight across the map and go straight to the Zerg natural. You want to see the den timing. Is there a den or is there no den? What's going on? So it's fine in that position. He killed the Overlord, but I think he kind of knows what's going on. So I'd like to see if Raz this game has 3-gate Zealot, and he didn't take a second gas yet. So I'm not sure exactly what Raz's plan is right now.
Yeah, definitely a little early still to tell. So Dragon, yeah, I mean, still going for the same build. I guess I'm not too surprised. It worked really well last time, and in between just one game and the second game, you might not have time to really come up with a perfect plan to counteract or to counter in some ways the build. But I mean, right now, if you're in Raz's shoes, what would you do?
If I'm in Raz's shoes right now and I see what the Corsair is seeing, I would probably start getting some extra cannons and probably rush to Storm, because I think a fast Hydra attack is on its way.
Yeah, last time I think we saw Dragon make a lot of Hydras, although he didn't go on the offense, right? He just stayed back, and I guess he was expecting DTs, the Corsair DT combo of harassment, really.
Yeah.
Moving out, doesn't have +1 just yet. That's the Forge spinning. I'm not sure.
I think that Drag is gonna go on the offensive after this timing attack. That's my kind of prediction here. I don't think that Drag is going for as long of a game as the first game. It's going to depend on how this goes right here, this attack.
Yeah, let's see what he gets done. Comes in, is he going to go in, starts hitting a few Hydras. Some of them are bugging out and just running around, not really wanting to, and the Zerglings come in, and this attack just doesn't, I mean, I don't see what it can possibly do. It's already on its way back. Yeah, like you said, I mean, I think we might see Dragon just move across the map now, and Raz, I think, is going to be in trouble unless he has storms or something, right?
Yeah, and he should have seen this when his Corsair, the way Drag was doing it, no more drones, he was going heavy Hydras. I would have personally either slapped down a bunch more gates and just mass Zealots, or I would add cannons and go into Storm. And you see that Raz is kind of just on the mass Zealot route right now. But the problem is Zealots are okay against Hydralisk when there's low number of Hydralisk, but once the Hydra starts scaling, Zealots pretty much don't do anything anymore.
Yeah, and I think we're hitting this point right now with all the zealots coming from the third. It looks like, I guess he was just waiting to have proper defenses to be able to move out with all of his hydras. But yeah, the zealots now not looking too scary.
Yeah, and Drag pretty much Drag's in a very good position now. Basically, the Zealot timing attack did nothing, um, and this is forcing Raz to go into another heavy two base gameplay. I think Raz went up to 6 gates, 8 gates, and I think Raz is kind of feeling the heat. Wow, my Zealot attack didn't do anything, and pretty much similar to last game now. And Drag's sitting pretty, knowing that the Zealots did nothing, his drone count wasn't affected, and this game he killed the Corsair. I wonder if he's going to actually get a few Mutalisk this game.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I was gonna say. I mean, this now looks like exactly like last game. I think Dragon's now comfortably. Well, he's a little bit ahead, I would say, and Raz going up to 8, 9 gates even. I think, it looks like it's gonna be a tough position for him to get a third, and I think eventually Dragon is just gonna just overwhelm him with the Zerg economy.
Yeah, I'm glad though this game Raz actually getting some anti-muta taxes. Last game his Corsair died same way, and he didn't really have any defenses against muta. But I guess this game he kind of just, I guess he's anticipating, okay, he's probably gonna get mutas this game, and I'm kind of glad he got that Dark Archon, because you don't know, and you don't want to lose the game because you lost to 6 Mutalists that sniped your HT, right? It's bad feeling as a Protoss.
Yeah, definitely a bit of harass there at the front. He got the gate, the forge rather. I'm wondering if he maybe forced. I mean, he canceled an upgrade. Looks like Raz is on one attack upgrade and nothing else.
Yeah, and you know what? When Drag came in to kill that forge, I have a strong that whatever was upgrading, whether it was +2 or armor again, it was probably like 90% done.
Yeah, that's always very painful. So I mean, right now, like it looks like we were talking last game about what Raz could be doing. I mean, obviously he needs a third at some point, and then we were talking about High Templars, shuttle, storm drops here and there. Do you think we're gonna see anything? I mean, it looks like Raz is just doing the same thing, but this time there's mutas killing probes that is natural. Let's see if the Dark Archon can show up and maybe clean this up.
So if Raz can actually kill all these mutas without losing a ton of probes, which doesn't look too good right now, there's a possibility, because that's 10 mutas. That's a lot of resources that Drag's committed. If he could like maelstrom them all and just knock them out, that would be really good here.
Yeah, here comes a DA. Oh, nice. But is there any?
Awesome.
Oh, beautiful. Well done.
And that was the break that I think Raz needed. And it worked out beautifully because Drag didn't know at all that he had a Dark Archon. So that's why Drag was kind of just floating around doing whatever he wanted to do. No. Now this is the chance for Raz to go and capitalize, because that was a lot of resources, right? 1,000 gas wasted right off the bat from Drag. This is a great army he has now against Pure Hydra. This is actually an opportunity that maybe Raz can take.
Yeah, might seem like it, but I think Dragon is gonna jump the gun and is gonna send everything. He looks like he's triggered from losing all of his mutas, but he's getting. Oh my god, the storms are just ripping all the hydras to shreds. Is it good enough though? There's so many hydras and still. Oh my god, more storms, and it's like there's so little left for Raz. I don't know. It looks like Dragon might have just pulled it off again.
Yeah, there was a lot of hydras. I felt like Drag was in a good position there. His hydras were kind of concave properly. He came in at all the angles, and it kind of caught Raz off guard. I don't think he expected Drag to be right outside his base like that. But, that was Raz's chance. You got 10 Mutalisk for free, pretty much. So if you can't take it now, it's not gonna happen later. So I think Drag's got this one in the bag.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna get any better from here. I mean, the third a consequence of losing that fight just now is that now the third is inaccessible completely, and so he's stuck on two bases again, and versus four Zerg bases that are, I think, fully saturated and just can now
Yeah, and
just pump units.
if you're Protoss and you're coming up to the 15-minute mark and you're still on two bases, it's you kind of know your fate.
Yeah, and I think both players must know. Rad's still trying to get some stuff done. There's a big storm again, but despite all these storms, I mean, there's still just more Hydras and more units, and you know, uh, yeah, like you said, I mean, it's just I think Raz is just going through the motions right now, just trying to break through, but there's very little hope.
Yeah, I really think Raz he needs to see that this is a very late lair, very late spire, and use that to then make the decisions to play. Where in fact he's playing based on Zerg is kind of playing like regular 3-hatch lair into 5-hatch Hydra, right? Which hasn't been the case. So seeing some harass again from Raz would have been nice. The Zealot timings that he's trying to do haven't been working, and he's basically getting very behind from that.
Yeah, definitely. And trying to push out again, I mean, immediately met with a horde of Hydralisks. Just, I mean, yeah, it's just so hard to get out of these situations, really. You kill so many Hydras, but doesn't matter. I mean, we see the supply just shooting up for Dragon regardless. And I mean, is there anything Raz can do? I mean, can he go for storm drops? I mean, what's the miracle play here?
To be honest, there's no miracle play anymore. It's done. Does when the Zerg is double your supply and you're still it's done.
Yeah.
It's just now we're just waiting for the GG. But I think it's always important in this situation to just like look back, like what could he have done, right? Um, and not just what could he have done, but what could you have done, and also you got 10 Mutalisk kills for free, right? So I think few things. One, it was unfortunate that his forge died probably 90+% upgrade complete. That hurts. I think two, the zealot timing was not the right decision. Knowing that he knew what drag is doing, because your zealots aren't going to do anything. So to invest in that, it was a decision that put him behind. And then third, no fourth, just two base all in again. So I think those were the things for Raz to maybe do for next time.
Yeah, so GG, Raz is out of this qualifier. Looks like Dragon's gonna move on to the second round. Yeah, I mean, I think like you said, I mean, Dragon's just solid play. Plays very carefully too, it looks like. I mean, he just stays back the whole time, even though we're, harping on about how, I think he's gonna counter now. I think now's a good time for him to attack, and he just stays back the whole time. But it's not like it's a wrong decision, right? He's just playing very carefully, and I think it just shows in how he wins these games. It seems almost inevitable.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not surprised. Drag just kind of drags all. You know, he kind of will have the mindset like, I know I'm better than this guy. Just let this guy make the mistakes, and that's pretty much what he did both games.
All right, so let's see if we have any updates on the bracket. So we have Hawk going up 2-0 against Rekka. So he's going to be in the second round. He's going to face Models. That's going to be a pretty big match. Whip looks like he beat Dead Infested 2-0. He's going to play Sheep in the next round. Tim 2-0. He's up against Shafir. That's going to be a nice PvP. Vudank won his match. He's 2-0. He's going to face Rogi. That's also going to be pretty good. Hatchery Cake SC taking it 2-0 versus Dixie. He's going to face Keen. Dragon, we just saw, he's going to face now Crane in the second round. We have Gypsy going 2-0 against who we presume is Michael, old school Michael from iCup days. So he's going to be facing Father. That's going to be, Father versus Gypsy. Wow, that's gonna be. We're still before the finals, but I feel like that's gonna be the finals, the real finals.
Yeah, that's fine. Those two, funny. Yeah, I think we've got some awesome second round models, and Hawk obviously is super exciting. I actually like Tim and Shafir. That's funny to watch. And then I think, like you said, Father and Gypsy. I think those are some fun and good matches.
Yeah, a lot of stories there. That's for sure. Those are some big names in the community. Not just because of their skill, but also because of their prevalence, their presence in various events and streams. It looks like we're gonna have. It looks like we're gonna have Vudank versus Rogi. That's Rogi. Costco 150 hot H dogs. TVP. All right. It looks like Rogi won the first game on Polypoid, so we're now on Eclipse for game number 2.
Yeah, and so what do you Ninja? What do you know about these players?
I'll be honest, I'm not too familiar with Vudank. I've seen his name before. I'm not too sure what to expect. Uh, Rogi, who's up here in the top right, is the Blue Terran, though. I know Rogi is pretty good. He's a solid player.
Yeah, I don't know too much about the players, but let's do the intro. So we've got Rogi, Terran, Blue at the 1 o'clock.
And down here in the bottom left, we have the Protoss Vudank. So yeah, so Rogi, like I was saying, Rogi was actually a coach. I think the first time I participated in CPL, maybe like 2 years ago or something like that. Um, he's pretty good. I don't know. I haven't seen him play a whole lot. I know he has a lot of, I would say, like knowledge. He has a lot of strategical knowledge. Um, I'm not sure what exactly his MMR is at. I don't see him ladder very much. I have him on my friend list, and I always see him playing these weird custom games. So I don't know where he is at right now. Oh, he's the Team Melee King. That's what I've been told right now. I don't know if that means anything. I don't know if that's just a meme. I don't know. I don't know if this translates into 1v1, but I mean he's a good Terran. Do you know anything about Vudank though?
I don't know anything. No, I don't. But I just know that that he has almost 600 APM right now. So he's trying his heart out right now.
Yeah, that's definitely a that's definitely a big indicator of skill. That's for sure. Um, it'll be interesting. Let's see. It looks like Rogi is just going for racks, gas, and he's gonna expand after that. So very standard stuff. The racks on the left of the depot, of course, so you can put that marine. That marine can go through, and the zealots can't. Um, yeah, gate core. I think what we're the first thing to see is really whether or not Vudank's gonna make a zealot and walk it across the map.
Yeah, and none of the players decided to do anything cheesy, right? Like Eclipse, you can do like proxy gates. Um, I think there's a lot of stuff you can do, and I'm actually glad to see that they're like, you know what? I'm confident in my skills. Let's just play a normal game. So it's always good to see that.
Yeah, I think when the ladder season just started, I think you had like a 50% chance to find proxy gateways in your main as a Terran on this map. But nowadays, I think it's old news. I think all the Protoss have stopped doing that, and now it's actually going, the other way. They might get a little bit greedy with their economy, maybe throw a 12 next in there, even though it's a two-player map. Um, yeah, so we'll have to see what they choose to do here.
Yeah, and it looks like standard build openings from both. Vudank just going for a goon and then range, and then wonder if he'll decide to go with a normal, 23 Nexus, 21 Nexus. I don't know, right? Common builds, or is he gonna? I don't know. DT Robo. Like, there's so many openings. and we don't know the players. We don't know what to expect. So it's actually really fun to watch this because you don't have any like notion of what they'll do.
So I have a little question in here for our resident Protoss expert here. What changes depending on the Nexus timing here from Wudang, right? You can get it after one goon, two goons, or even three goons. What does it matter?
It's funny you ask this, but because I feel like people harp on the Nexus timing a lot. Um, Truthfully, not much. Well, obviously, the main thing is if you get it at 21, you got a Nexus faster, and you're gonna probably mine a little bit more minerals faster, right? But in the grand scheme, between 21 and 23, I don't think much. And I actually think if you're playing a really good Terran, I don't think much changes either in their response either, right? You're the Terran player, so if you saw 21 or 23, would you even notice? Would
Oh,
you change your play?
oh, of course. I mean, I can't even tell the difference. I'm not even scouting. I'm just in my base doing nothing, at this point in the game. So yeah, I mean that's definitely what I feel too. I mean, there's not much of a. I mean, I'm sure Korean pro gamers would disagree very strongly, but for me at least, doesn't seem like it changes a whole lot.
Yeah. So, Vudank went up. He's aiming the bunker. I think that's good. It's important as Protoss to do that. Be annoying a little bit where you can because you want the Terran to try and repair that bunker. They're going to lose money doing that. And those little things add up because giving Terran a free base, it's obviously not good. So little things like that matter. Like right now, he's not doing that, right? I know there's a tank, but you can still try to be annoying. Um, and we see behind this, he's gone 23 Nexus and he went into 2 gate. Typically 23 Nexus, and if you have 2 gates, typically that would tell me that you might be going into a Reaver. So will we see some Reaver play? That would be cool. Doesn't look like it. I just see an observatory so far. So typically though, if you're gonna go observatory, you probably get three gates behind it instead. That's just like the common build, I guess, if you want to call it that.
Yeah. So we see Rogi. He got a relatively early engineering bay, and he's getting turrets. So I'm not sure what exactly he. I think his SCV got in after the Nexus went up and saw a Robo, and I think he's upgrading. Oh, okay, never mind. He's upgrading something from the eBay. So I think we're gonna see some sort of marine medic. I'm not. Yeah, actually, that makes a lot of sense. Rogi is someone who I think loves a lot of different builds, and yeah, I think we'll see some sort of crazy timing with marine medics coming out really soon.
Yeah, there you go. And Academy's going down. So yeah, we're gonna see the infamous Marine Medic timing attack. And honestly, it is a really good build in like a series match. But on the flip side, Vudank, he is actually following some sort of standard build. I was worried for a second that he was just off doing whatever he wanted to do. But as I was saying, typically 2 gate opening like that after the Nexus, it usually leads into a Reaver. So now it's interesting because he's going to have Reavers going up against Marines and Medics. That's actually really favorable for him. And so I think that's going to catch Rogi off guard. And not just that, the Reaver hasn't even been exposed yet. We're after 7 minutes. So he probably thinks, oh, this Protoss, he doesn't even have a Reaver. I'm just going to steamroll him with Marines and Medics. He's going to be surprised when there's 2 Reavers there.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, exactly. When I saw the support bay, I was, it's definitely, it looks bad for Rogi, and I wonder, what Wudang thinks right now, because he came in with the observer, and then he sees this turret ring, and I mean, it's kind of suspicious, right? I think there's probably two things, right? The most obvious thing is some sort of like six factory timing or something that you want to really keep hidden from the Protoss, right? So you get those really fast turrets, or it's something like what Rogi is doing. But I think in both cases, I don't know if you'll agree, but I think that the Reaver is gonna be able to, the Reaver is gonna be invaluable in dealing with this. I think.
Yeah, I agree. And if I'm the Protoss player and I see this weird ring of turrets and it just seems shady, right? Like it's like what is this guy trying to hide? I would
Yeah.
be super suspect. I would do a few things. I would, if I had already made my third base, which Vudank has done, I would cut probes here. I would just straight up cut probes because clearly the Terran's doing something. Either like you said, a 5 fact, M&M, I don't know, 4 fact, who knows, but it's something. And I think as a Protoss here, you cut probes and you just power units. And obviously, if you've got a Reaver, that's even better to deal with timing attacks. So I'd be curious, like, will he cut probes here? Or is he going to just kind of just trek forward like, hey, this is a normal Terran thing?
Yeah, let's see what happens here. He brings to the Zealot and the Reaver, gets a shot in, gets a couple SCVs. I mean, oh, did he stim those Marines? If he used stim on these Marines, I think yeah, he did stim these Marines. So I think now, I mean, if there was any doubt left in Fudank's mind, I think now he knows exactly what's happening. I think he knows that there's a big investment, and he got armor first. I guess to survive like one more dragoon shot or something. I mean, that's pretty crazy. I mean, this is definitely the roguey I know.
This is the team melee skills coming up, +1 armor.
Yeah, you can tell. You can tell it's like a separate branch of evolution, like a weird one. Somehow it went into like, yeah, TVP meta. Sure, you get marine medics and you push against reavers. So let's see how it goes. This is a pretty tricky area to push through. Looks like, oh man, Rogi is just gonna A move through it. I don't know if the marine. Oh, the reaver. Is the reaver dead? I think the shuttle just went down with the reaver, and now the marine
The
medic.
Reaver had already died, but yeah, this is bad. This is actually good and bad. So good in the sense that he picked off 3 tanks for free, but now he has no units though, and I don't think he held probes like I was initially suggesting, and he's still just powering with the goons. And I mean, this is scary. He's going to be sieged up at his natural. Pretty good position. You need good Reaver shots here.
Yeah, he definitely does. There's one, gets a good group of Marines. The Dragoons are coming in at the same time. I don't know if they're just going to go down. Another Reaver shot gets huge, man. It's so easy to deal with Marine medics, but there's still quite a few tanks left now. And I don't know if he has enough to deal with the tanks, because the tanks are really the backbone of the push. The Marines are just there to kind of protect them, really. So Unsieging going to move forward. Looks like Wudang's gonna try and come in from the side here. A couple zealots, four zealots drop.
Oh, he messed up his hotkey a little bit. He didn't bring all the goons. He only brought like 2 or 3 goons there from the top.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's definitely gonna be a little bit harder now to hold. I mean, yeah, he's floating. This is really kind of like panic mode when you forget about everything else besides just making units and using what you have to try to defend.
Yeah.
We need to
And
see
now he's
another.
at 18. He was at 1800 minerals, floating really heavy. He got flustered actually. He actually, I think Vudank had no idea that a Reaver was, I mean, Marines and Medic was on the menu until his Reaver dropped there. And then when he saw it, I think he was just shocked. And I think as a result of that, his minerals went up. He didn't know how to deal with it. And one thing led to another.
Yeah, that's definitely one thing when you face these kinds of unusual builds, or you know you think, well, it's probably not that great of a build, right? I mean, pros don't use it or anything, but there's still, there's a sort of hidden strength there in that a lot of people won't have the immediate, the right reaction to it, right? And I think maybe if Wudang had just kept making Reavers, I mean, I think that's what I would have, I mean, it's easy for us to say this, obviously, as we're just looking at the game, but, probably just more Reavers. They're so good at dealing with Marine medics, and then you just go all in on the tanks, and then one Reaver can kill Infinity Marines, right? So,
Yeah. His I will just say Wudang's build was a bit off, right? So his Reaver should have been there much earlier, but we know from the game his first Reaver dropped at behind the mineral lines at like the 9 minute mark. That's very late. Um so yeah. But okay guys, we're gonna take a quick little break here and then we'll get into the next game.
All right, we're back for more. Let's look at the brackets now. So it looks like we have a couple of results in. Tim took it 2-0 over Shafir. He's through to round three. Rogi took down Wudang. We just saw that 2-0, the second game on Eclipse. Gypsy, it looks like he showed absolutely no mercy to his student father 2-0. So he's up in round three as well. And lastly, we have Nesh. He won 2-0 versus Frag Crag 1. And so it's going to be Gypsy versus Nesh. We have Tim versus Rogi. And the other matches are yet to be determined.
And guys, while we get the next match started, please, if you've got even 30 seconds, please head on over to the Matcherino. There's a free code, Rumble21. I believe Strom is posting about it, and you can add a free 25 cents to the prize pool. All it takes is 30 seconds. So please, if you're sitting there doing nothing right now, waiting for us to start the next game, 30 seconds is all it takes.
That's right. That's matcherino.com/tournament/41660. So just in case Strom is asleep at the wheel, you can type that in. Go give us a bit of your money. Um, Not literally, of course. It's all for the prize pool. And there's also a Patreon. Hopefully, we'll get a link posted as well. So that will support, of course, Rogue Gallery to keep hosting these amazing events. They're a lot of fun. And we look forward to the next game.
So Ninja, what are your predictions for today? Who's making it to the top four? Who's winning the whole thing?
Well, looking at the results we have right now, I think we can speculate on the two matchups that I just mentioned, right? So Tim versus Rogi, that's hard to tell. I don't know them. I mean, I know both players, but I don't know them well enough. I haven't played against them recently or seen their play in much detail. I think that could go either way. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Rogi pulled out a couple of special builds, or if Tim just won, two PVTs in a row. So that's a hard call. But on the other hand, Gypsy versus Nesh, I think that's a bit of a mismatch. And I think Gypsy, I mean, he's pretty much S rank, and Nesh is, I think, high B, low A kind of player. So I think it's gonna be I think Nesh will have a hard time there winning against Gypsy.
Yeah, I think for today, it's tough because Dragon's gonna probably beat Crane, and then Gypsy will beat Nesh. I agree there, and we're gonna get to see Gypsy versus Drag. They'll be on the bottom two in the semifinals, and I think in the top, I'm predicting Tim to beat Rogi, and I have my flip up. I have no idea between Models and Hawk, so it's tough. I think Hawk's a little bit in shape right now, and I think Models just came back not too long ago. Actually, I just came back, and I think Models came back around the same time as me. So Models probably a little bit rusty. So I'm gonna give it to Hawk. So we'll see Hawk and Tim versus Gypsy and Dragon. I guess those are my predictions.
Are you completely discounting the possibility of either Keen, who we just now see has advanced the third round? So Keen is going to be against Dragon. No, that's not confirmed yet. Well, I mean, yeah, like you said, I think Dragon will probably beat Kane, so we might see Dragon versus Keen. Does Keen have any chances against Dragon? You think? I think that would be ZVP, the Zerg being Keen, right?
I don't think Keen has a chance, but it's StarCraft. You never know. Anyone can drop a game or two. So
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I mean, we were all thinking it, but um, so yeah, okay. So now we see, yeah, Dragon has won his match against Crane 2-0. Keen took down Hatchery KKC 2-1. So we're gonna get Keen versus Dragon, and yeah, top of the bracket. We didn't talk about Whip versus Sheep. Um, I'm not sure who Sheep is, but I know Whip is a pretty solid Terran player. Um, can we assume that Whip is going to beat Sheep? Do you know anything about Sheep?
I have no idea who Sheep is. As far as Whip goes, I don't know too much about Whip either. I've heard the name, like you said, decent Terran. But I was inactive for like the past year almost, and I feel like Whip's name kind of just came up out of nowhere for me anyway. Kind of like Mars, right? I think for me personally, I didn't know who Mars was either. So it's good to see some new names just coming up. I could be wrong, but it seemed like new folks to the community, which is good.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. I definitely get the same kind of vibe of, between Mars and Whip. Although, yeah, like we said, I mean, not too familiar about Whip. I know Mars a little bit. He's on NAS B, I believe. Yes, with us, and so with me rather. He's pretty good. He's up there in the 2000 2100 MMR range. So yeah, it looks like he really shot up out of nowhere. I mean, it's easy for us to say out of nowhere. I mean, obviously they're practicing hard and improving and constantly talking to people. So
Yeah, it's
yeah,
funny because it's like you see someone, you're like, wow, you got 2100 out of nowhere, but it feels like that.
yeah, it's never
um,
out of nowhere. Let's be honest. I mean,
yeah,
no
yeah.
one skips 1900 to like 2100 in one leap.
Yeah, and I think while we look for the next game, guys, that's why we're kind of just chatting a little bit here. I think we'll have a game pretty shortly to cast, but I want to see Mars play in a qualifier. Actually, I think he was. I know Mars pretty well too. We've been practicing a bit as well. Love to see him in a qualifier. I think um, I think he has a chance to qualify in one of these. So it'd be awesome to see him in there.
Yeah, I think he's on the West Coast. So I know that I think him and maybe another player were saying, oh, it's a little bit hard to make it on Friday because that's 5 p.m. for the West Coast. But I thought maybe today he would show up. Maybe he'll just show up on Sunday. I know he seems like a busy guy too. So yeah.
So I think we might have a game. We're just trying to get a little organized here, guys. We might be potentially casting Dragon versus Keen, and kind of like Ninja was asking, does Keen have a chance? I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, one way or another, we'll find out. Looks like we're missing. Looks like Gypsy. Well, Gypsy's there though. We were maybe thinking of casting Gypsy, but it looks like he was missing. Now he's here. Let's see if we are gonna stick with Keen versus Dragon, or are we gonna show Gypsy versus Netch? Let's see. We're about to find out.
Yeah, so guys, I do think we're gonna do Nesh versus Gypsy then. So that's cool. That's gonna be TVT, right, Ninja?
Yep, unless someone's off racing, but I kind of doubt it.
Yeah. Gypsy is Gypsy's solid. He's super solid. And I think Gypsy, I don't know much about Nesh, but I know Gypsy very well. He's solid. I mean, mechanically, uh, and Gypsy's one of those guys. He doesn't like play too hard or too seriously, or he kind of just plays like. And I think Gypsy is like one of the guys in North America who has like true like raw talent. Gypsy's very good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm one of the degenerates in his stream, constantly watching, and yeah, he's definitely. I think mechanically, it's really impressive. Is there's when you watch the FP VODs of pros, I think one of the things that strikes me and a lot of people immediately is just how fast they are and so how accurate they are with the mouse. And I think Gypsy is one of the only players that truly, if he's on his game. It's really entertaining to watch on a very basic level. So here we go. I mean, Nesh versus Gypsy. Let's see what happens.
So, um, I have a question, but we can do intros first. So at the top right, at the 1 o'clock, we have Nesh.
And in the top left, the blue Terran, it's Gypsy.
So I've been hearing the name Nesh a lot too. Like we were talking Whip and Mars, and now Nesh. I don't know anything about him. What do you know?
Well, I don't know a whole lot. I know he streams, or at least he used to stream quite regularly on Twitch. Um, he seems good. I mean, I think I think he's coaching or assistant coaching CPL this season. Um, the general impression I have is that yeah, high B, low A, old school player. I think right. Wasn't he in on media or something? Or anyway, he was. He's been around for a while. I think he started playing again a lot not too long ago. Um, from what I've seen, I think in his games yesterday in the previous qualifier, I think he's just gonna play straight up. I think he's one of those Terrans. He's one of those honorable Terrans, I think, as Artosis would put it. He wants to play straight up the macro game. Yeah, those kinds of things. What do you think about Gypsy's? Do you know anything about Gypsy's TVT?
I think Gypsy's TVZ is his best, I believe, but I think his TVT is like right up there. I think TVP is his worst, but I saw Gypsy streaming yesterday, and I think he got paired up against Scan in one of the matches. I don't know if you saw that. You said you're the
Yeah,
the, the
yeah, I
Gypsy
think I've
stream
seen it.
junkie. I
Yeah,
mean, Scan destroyed him, but I thought he did pretty decent. Like, I mean, it's Scan, right? You're talking about like amateur, semi-pro level person Scan. I thought Gypsy still kind of held his own, well, the best you can against someone like that. So Gypsy's strong. But Ninjum, can you talk a little bit about like TVT on this map? Like, what can we expect? What's like the common things?
so yeah, sure. Polypoid is a pretty large map, right? So I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, as we can already see. I mean, Gypsy's going for gasless expand, uh, and then the rush distances are pretty far, and so you can get away with that kind of build relatively easily. Although Nesh opted to just go with the standard, uh, racks, gas, factory, whatever you want to call it, just standard build. Um, as far as the map goes, otherwise, I mean, you have to look at the high ground, right? That's not what do you call it, like rotationally symmetrical or something like that, right? So there's a high ground for Nesh at the mineral only. That's really key. That could turn out to be a big point of contention. If you hold that as Gypsy, I mean, the game's almost essentially over, right? You're on high ground. Your tanks can range almost all the way to the front of the natural of Nesh. Um, that being said, Nesh is going to get the earlier factories, right? So he might have a bit of pressure on Gypsy instead.
And we see actually Nesh is going for proxy factory. So his second factory is being made in the middle of the map. Super interesting. So are we gonna? What do you think his plan is with that? Is it like a vulture run by or what?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, most likely it's gonna be vultures, right? I mean, well, I guess you never know. But right now, I think Gypsy's gonna get his CV and he's gonna see that there's no command center, which is a bit of a sign of like something might be up. That being said, there's quite a few possibilities. Is he going Wraith? I mean, is he going Starport, two Starport? We know it's just a factory in the middle of the map, but I think we're gonna see vultures from it, and we'll have to see if Gypsy can um, hold this properly, right? His tech is a little bit late, right? Because he went gasless. Um, Nesh went for early tech, right? Two factories. He's gonna force the issue really quick, but we see Gypsy already has a wall off, so he knows something's up. And getting I think it's a depot there on the right. I think that already signals uh, that he's ready for vultures. But I think Nesh might be going for tanks instead to try to bust down this wall.
Yeah, this is interesting. I think Gypsy had some really good game sense. Just sensed something's something's up, something's not right. Let me just wall off to be safe. So really good game sense there.
Yeah, and we see the barracks on top of the bunker. I think that's likely gonna prevent any repair from coming in. We saw also Nesh got two add-ons, so I think he wants to go into tanks, and he's also getting an E base. So I'm getting a little bit worried. You know, he's on one base. He's getting the turrets because he knows a wraith might pop out, and that would be, you know, impossible to deal with if you only have tanks and vultures, right? So he's gonna try and probably add turrets to his push. Um, that's a lot of things. I don't know if he can afford everything in a timely manner because Gypsy's gonna get his factories up. I mean, he's just gonna get more units out pretty quickly, and so Nesh's window of opportunity here is, I think it's closing rapidly. I don't know if he's going to be able to make it happen.
Yeah, it looks looking like Gypsy's really pulling ahead here. I mean, we're looking at a mirror matchup where one player in the early game is already, almost 15, 20 supply ahead. I mean, I know a lot of it's in SCVs given the fast command center, but this is Nesh's chance right here, right? If he's going to do anything. And it looks like he doesn't have siege just yet, and he's about to lose one of his tanks. So Gypsy with really good defense. He's going into a wraith, and it looks like he's upgrading cloak as well. So yeah, Gypsy's slowly pulling ahead here.
Yeah, I think for Nesh to have any chance, he needs to almost deny the natural, right? I mean, he did get his own natural, but he invested a lot. He needs to at least retain a strong position here, and at least he has turrets, he has a couple tanks, but Gypsy's production is gonna kick in soon, and it's gonna be hard. I mean, Gypsy could also just pull his SCVs and go and deal with the two tanks. I mean, relatively easily. So Nesh has to hold on to some sort of positional advantage going into this mid game because in terms of economy, he's pretty far behind.
Yeah, and question for you is, in PvP or ZVZ, I mean, there are matchups that, I mean, build orders that can truly kind of just be like build order loss, as they say. Is that as prevalent in TVT, do you think? Did we see that here?
I mean, the thing is, what Nesh did is kind of a cheese, I would qualify it as. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I just mean that you commit a lot to this attack, to this, you know, initial kind of push, whatever you want to call it. And if you don't get good damage in return, then you're in a really bad spot. This isn't, you know, it's not really like a standard opening like Gypsy did, right? Gypsy is just going for like, oh, let me get my economy going and just have a few units to hold on, right? That's like the kind of typical mentality in any matchup, right? Behind regular, what we would call like regular builds. And also, right now we're seeing Gypsy just move forward, and this is really strong, right? Gypsy got the barracks. I mean, he took out Nesh's barracks, and now he has vision with his own barracks, and that means that he can push forward with his tanks. And we see him. He took a lot of tanks out from Nesh, and although Nesh is getting his eBay in, so he might be able to hold on here. We'll have to see.
Yeah, one good thing for Nesh though is right, he's behind economically. He's a bit behind in the game, yes, but positionally, he's got the contain on the high ground advantage. So that makes a huge difference. I mean, in any matchup really, but tanks on the high ground, man, that's dangerous.
Yeah, that certainly is dangerous, especially when he has his eBay now to spot. That's going to make it really hard for Gypsy to move out. So now, Gypsy though, Gypsy, what? Oh, that's yeah, the Panda Bear guy. Gypsy has the economy, right? He's up to 5 factories already, whereas Nesh has, I think, maybe 2 factories still. He's getting a third, but at some point, Gypsy might still push out of this and just send push out with a ton of vultures, take the initial tank volley, start putting mines everywhere. If he does that, Nesh is going to lose his contain real quick. And we see him putting mines, Gypsy that is, putting mines between the two bases. That's going to make it hard for Nesh to reinforce his contain.
Yeah, I think Gypsy's about to explode here, macro wise, and we see a drop coming in. I think this is going to be a drop that's going to really hurt Nesh because he's already behind economically, and now you're just adding more damage on top of that already. Some mines, so his tanks can't get in there right away. This is doing
Yeah,
actually a lot of damage, losing a lot of mining time, and he lost some units out of it. So lost a tank, lost several SCVs. Will he lose one more tank? Oh wow,
he
yeah. So
does.
this ended up being a lot of damage. And the other problem is, look at Gypsy's supply, almost getting double, and here comes the push out. I think he's gonna just destroy this push easily.
Yeah,
Contain, I mean.
this is really textbook play. You know, you get the drop ship, you pull units back. You know, it's pulled some units back. The mines in between the two bases, and now you can easily crush this kind of you know, really fast attempt at a contain. And oh man, taking 2 more hits here. It's all going downhill for Nesh, and I think Gypsy smells blood in the water. He's gonna go and at least take the high ground in front of Nesh's natural, if not just outright end the game right now.
Yeah, I think Gypsy's just going for the kill. It's over. I mean, you're talking about a mirror matchup. Mirror matchup when somebody's up double supply. I mean, let's face the fact. It's pretty much over, right? So
Yeah, there's no tech advantage or you know, you just have the same units except he has twice as many, and so yeah, there's nothing Nesh can do. He sends a couple SCVs, gonna get a bit of splash damage in there, but I think it's a little hopeless right now.
if anything, that was actually kind of a bad attack by Gypsy. Kind of just lost like a bunch of tanks for free, but even still, it doesn't really matter too much.
Yeah, I think that he might just play it safe now, hang back with a couple of tanks, just deny all the other bases. This base, oh my god, there's no defense here, so yeah, it's all going downhill from Nesh. I wonder if maybe he could have invested in more factories instead of getting a third, and he has surprisingly 2 starports. That I'm not too sure about, but yeah, I mean, at this point, I don't think it really matters. He's just
Yeah,
way too far behind.
we should see the GG pretty soon here.
Yeah, there's very little you can do. One thing I'll say though is that I understand Gypsy's sort of the decision he made to just set up a contain here. It's extremely hard to push into the natural with the high ground of the main kind of overlooking the entrance. It's easy to throw away a lot of units trying to take out the tanks that would be sieged up there. But Nesh is actually trying to, and this is, yeah, I mean, Nesh has to try this, right? He has to try to reclaim a little bit of space so that he still has access to the rest of the map, right? But if he does that, then Gypsy might just, you know, pounce and take out those units that are a little bit too far forward.
Yeah, and Gypsy just behind this. He got the contain, took his third, taking his fourth. I mean, and Gypsy's factory count, by the way, is insane. I think, right?
Yeah,
Well, it's
I mean,
not
yeah,
insane, but it's good.
yeah. I mean, Gypsy's macro is really, you know, I mean, Gypsy's a good player. Let's just let's just leave it at that. I mean, he gets up his bases, he gets up his production on a in a timely fashion, and you know, there's almost no room for Nesh to do anything at this point. He has all bases covered, I think. So
Yeah, and let's just even talk about the beginning of the game real quick, just for folks who might have just tuned in. Nesh went for a proxy factory, middle of the map, was going to do a vulture run by. Gypsy never even scouted the factory, but he just scouted his natural, saw he had no command center, and Gypsy just walled off his natural. Great game sense, and then pretty much that led to a massive advantage for Gypsy, and this is what it's led to, pretty much.
yeah, it's. I was actually talking to Gypsy a little bit about TVT and you know how just how to navigate the early game in general. And one of the things he mentioned is you know, you want to scout for that command center, the expansion. If you don't see it, then you know you have to prepare for it. And you know, Nesh didn't manage to deny that SCV from scouting, and I think that's really key. You know, if you can deny that SCV, then well, it's a harder decision to take, right? To really go to turtle in your base because then you don't know if actually well it's a fake. He's actually just expanding like any other normal build, or is he cheesing? Because if he's cheesing and you don't take it seriously, you might lose. And yeah, there's
All
the
right, and
GG.
there's a GG. Not a surprising result, I would say.
Yeah, I mean it's tough. I mean, Nesh is solid. Looking at what he's doing, I really like I really like his idea to go aggressive early on. I think it's a good plan, um, to try to get not just a quick win, but like I said, he tried to keep that contain up. Um, but maybe the follow up was a little bit. Um, I don't know. Maybe the follow up could use a little bit of work because if you don't commit enough to the push, it's tricky, right? Because you need to commit a lot to keep that push. I mean, to keep your contain up, right, that fast. So you need to send a lot of units, but then if you start getting dropped or if wraiths show up and start harassing your SCVs, it's tough to keep sending units to the front. Um, but still, I mean, I liked his game plan. I thought it was a good try.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I think now for the next game, guys, we're not gonna do Nesh and Gypsy. I think we're going on to, I believe, Hawk against Whip. So that means, in fact, Hawk did beat Models. Looks like a 2-1 victory for Hawk. And so now we're going to go into Hawk and Whip, which will be a TVZ.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, it looks like Whip did win 2-0 over Sheep. Like you said, Hawk took down Models. So Models getting denied again. Um, Hopefully he will show up next week. And I have no doubt that he'll make it through, though. I think he's definitely good enough to make it through one of the qualifiers. We also have another result. Dragon did beat Keen, so 2-0, so no upset there. Keen's run ends in the third round. Dragon actually already securing his spot, right? He's in the top four. He's make it to the semifinals. They're still gonna play it out to find the first seed though, because that matters for the next stage of the competition.
Yep. And so I think we will. I mean, we'll get to see Dragon versus Gypsy most likely. I think that will be a really, really good matchup.
Yeah, I think those two are. That's gonna be a really good matchup. They're both extremely good. TVP is pretty fun to watch, so it's not fun to play. Well, it depends, I guess, which race you play, but it's definitely an entertaining matchup. So yeah, definitely something to look forward to. So while we wait, um, I can give you a little rundown of what's the schedule for the rest of the event. This is the second qualifier. Next week, Friday, we have another qualifier, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 5 p.m. for Pacific, West Coast. That's the 22nd of January. You can sign up for that qualifier. You can also sign up for the next Saturday's qualifier, which is on the 23rd. That is again at 2 p.m. Eastern Time or 11 a.m. on the West Coast. If you haven't tried it, you should try these competitions, even if you don't have a serious chance of making it out of there. It's a lot of fun to compete from time to time.
Yeah, and guys, while we wait as well, just another reminder: Matcherino, please, if you've got 30 seconds, go in there, Matcherino. I believe the code is Rumble21. Takes just 30 seconds and you can add free 25 cents to the prize pool. So please do that.
That's right. You can log in with your Twitch account, so it's double easy. No reason not to do it. I
And
hope
we're
we
just
can
trying
see a
to
match.
get set up here.
Yeah, I was gonna say I hope we see a match on Sylphid. We still haven't seen our third map, right?
Yeah. And is the map pool for folks interested in next week, Friday, Saturday qualifiers? Is the maps the same?
I believe so. I believe so. It's Polypoid, Eclipse, Sylphid in that order every time. All right, so it looks like we have hit Whip versus Hawk right now. So in the top right, the blue Zerg, it's Hawk.
And then at the 7 o'clock at the red Terran, we've got Whip.
So yeah, TVZ, Polypoid. Um, I think Shafir asked me, what's it like on this map, and honestly, I didn't, I didn't have much of an answer. Besides, it's pretty normal. There's nothing too special about it. Um, bases are typical on what you'd expect from a four-player map. Um, that being said, of the players, maybe could you tell us a little bit about Hawk? What do you think about his playstyle in general, and do you know anything about his ZVT?
Yeah, I think Hawk is super strong. I think Hawk is capable of the macro game. I think Hawk is capable of trying to cheese you. I think Hawk is that kind of player that don't assume what this guy will do, right? And I think that's a pretty good quality to have. Whereas, earlier we were saying, well, okay, Dragon's the kind of guy who he's going to try to go for the long game. He's going to try to macro, right? That was like an assumption on Drag. You can't make that assumption on Hawk. And I think that's something that makes him dangerous.
Yeah, definitely. I think Hawk, I've seen him play. I think he played against Gypsy. I think I saw him play on stream recently, and it was actually a great game. So if anything, if he can go toe to toe against Gypsy, and we know how good Gypsy is. So I think this is going to be pretty good. I think he might even be a little bit favored against Whip, who, yeah, I mean, like we said, I mean, I don't know a whole lot about him. I played him once in the previous Rogue Gallery event. I embarrassed myself surprisingly quickly against him and lost. That being said, I mean, yeah, I think I mean, we'll see in this game, but I think he's just a solid Terran player, and yeah.
What do you think about, TVZ like mech versus, just going regular bio?
Yeah, so I think on this map, it's unlikely to see mech. I'm not gonna pretend like I know exactly, what makes people go mech or not on certain maps, but here I've only seen bio play, so I think that's what we'll see from Whip. I don't know if it's still I'm not familiar enough with him as a player to know that it's his style to always go bio, for example. But I mean, I'm a big fan of bio. I think it leads to much more exciting games, whereas mech is just about, well, I'm obviously simplifying things, but it's about massing a bunch of Goliaths and sometimes tanks, and then you just a move across the map, and you hope the Zerg doesn't have enough, kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think so. We're seeing Hawk here go for 2-hatch lair. 2-hatch is kind of the standard nowadays, whereas, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, that wasn't probably the standard, right? It was like a 3-hatch kind of play in ZVT, and so now the Zergs are going heavy 2-hatch into pretty aggressive muta play early on, and I think that could be potentially what we see Hawk doing here as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, this quote unquote new generation of two hatch build is so strong because you get the early mutas, but you also get a pretty good economy because because Zergs have figured out how to squeeze in that third hatch before the mutas pop out. So that's a very early third hatch, a third base, and yeah, I mean, I think Hawk's just gonna go for that. I think he's one of those, skilled player who will, of course, play uh, the meta builds. On the other hand, Whip, we saw him go 2 racks Academy. That's fairly standard as a response to a 2-hatch opening. Whether or not he goes for a push at like 5:15 ish is still up in the air. But
What do you think
given that,
about? like turret timing. When does a Terran typically need, like, thinking that they're facing two hatch Muta? When would they need to get the turrets down? Because it seems like he should be putting those down soon here. But then also, while I ask you that question, Hawk's also changing his game plan. It looks like entirely now.
Yeah, well, actually, that's what I was talking about, right? Are you referring to the third hatchery going down?
Yeah, is that?
Yeah, so that hatchery is, I think, fairly normal. You get it while you're stacking resources for your mutas. And this is the hatchery that I'm talking about. That's just you get it so early, yet the Terran can't really do much about it because if you move out and turns out you were wrong, and the Zerg just made a few more lings, you lose that first group of Marine medics, and you can lose the game really easily. And even if you commit and you gamble a little bit and you think, well, you haven't made any lings. I scouted you long enough to kind of know that. I mean, you get to the hatchery about when the mutas pop out, and that means that combined with the lings, you're probably going to get overwhelmed as well and not get the hatchery, which is the whole point of your play if you go for that third hatchery. So it's a really safe and standard way to open now, and that's why I mean it's so strong. You open with two hatch, right? We saw the mutas, they're out, it's 555. That's relatively like two hatch muta normal timing that we're used to, yet there's a third hatch on the way, and the Terran can't really do anything about it.
Yeah, really good explanation. Even I learned something there, so that's good to know.
So yeah, I mean he's still out on the map, and I mean, obviously, I'm not good enough to make any calls or anything like that, but there's a little bit of risk as you go out onto the map like this. If the Zerg makes a whole lot of lings, you can get there's a bit of a fight here, but this isn't. Is it enough? I mean, yeah, it looks like he's gonna back out for now, but Whip can easily lose these Marines, so I think he has to play a little bit carefully here.
Yeah, and I think as a Terran, if you lose that first group out in the middle of the map, which he almost did, that's dangerous, right? Because that's your kind of map presence as Terran early on.
Yeah, definitely. He did go up to 4 racks though. So 4 racks is pretty gives you a good amount of Marine medics. You can also go for 3 racks. You can stay on 2 racks. That's a bit more old school and kind of risky because you can die with if the Zerg trades with your Marines a lot. But four racks means that you get a steady flow of reinforcements, and so I think that's why we see Whip still out on the map because he knows he has more units coming, and he really wants to fight the Zerg here at this stage of the game.
Yeah, and there we go. I think Hawk now has the mute account to take that group out. He does.
Yeah,
So what's Whip's gameplay from here? So he knows that, okay, I lost my first group here. What would you do here?
well, well, first thing I want to say though is that I'm surprised that these units that we see on the screen right now didn't meet up with the rest of his army, because now it might just go down if Hawk sees that it's just 5 Marines and a medic. That's free lunch, so he's gonna take it. And I mean, yeah, I'm not too sure what Whip's game plan was heading towards that corner of the map. I mean, obviously we know that there's nothing there, but he scouted the third already with a rogue fire bat, but he sent those units there, and then he lost. He's losing little groups here and there, and this is going to cost him in the long run, I think.
Yeah, because now he lost the first group in the middle of the map. He lost the group that we just saw near 12 o'clock, and now he just lost this small group here at the third. So his Marine count is just going to be super low when it's actually time to move out. When in fact, Hawks pretty much lost maybe what, like 4 mutas total so far, something like that.
Yeah, the mutas he lost are definitely, I think, inconsequential, largely, and he didn't lose. I think he just lost an overlord there. I don't think he lost any drones. So with going for the four, I mean, there's an extent to which like it's fine to lose Marine medics. Even I was watching Light play some random games, and like even in his real games, like he can lose a group of marine medics like that. It's fine to some extent, but I think Whip lost a bit too many. It's not the end of the world, obviously, as once you hit a sort of critical mass, you can deal with any amount of layer tech Zerg units. But yeah, it definitely makes his late game a little bit weaker.
Yeah, and now we just see Hawk doing a little bit of muta harass here and there. And I think that's good as the Zerg, right? You want to just keep the Terran playing defensively, give yourself as the Zerg some time to tech up, drone up, kind of get ready for the big fight that will eventually happen pretty soon here.
Yeah, he's still making mutas. I wonder how far along his hive tech is, because behind all of this, Whip is still getting. Yeah, okay, we see the Defiler Mine almost done. Lurker, okay, yeah, okay. So he's gonna be. I think he's gonna be okay now, getting the lurkers. Because I was gonna say, Whip's getting his science vessels out, and at that point, it's not like the mutas suddenly disappear off the map, but they lose a lot of power, right? As one irradiate can just deal with the flock. Very easily. So let's see what happens here. He's looking for some damage, but is he gonna get the vessel? Gets the one volley off. That's down to 128 HP. Whip has to be careful. He definitely does not want to lose any vessels at this point.
Yeah, and we see Hawk closing in the gap on the supply now, which is always a good thing for Zerg. And I think Hawk actually has a lot of openings in Whip's base, actually. I don't think he ever rebuilt a couple turrets that died. So if Hawk feels like he's got the defenses at the base to deal with this, I really think the Muta could go and counter. But I think Hawk's also taking the decision of, let me just keep distracting him, buy more time, so that he could keep getting better defenses going.
Yeah, absolutely. You can definitely go on the offense. You can go back on the offense with your mutas once you have enough, sunken defiler. I mean, lurkers and all that. But it looks like he even wants to get that vessel. Still doesn't get it. It gets irradiated. Hopefully, he splits fast and. Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. I mean, the mutas are, like I said, they lose their value toward at this point of the game, right? So it's fine for them to take damage. He has a defiler. He has lurkers. Um, so essentially, he's fine on three bases, and ultra lisks. I think we're gonna see maybe a lot of hatcheries looks like. So yeah, I think Hawk might just power on three bases for a bit, and then when he moves out, it's gonna be tough for Whip, I think.
Yeah, I guess he's just buying time just to get the ultras out, the upgrades for the ultras, and then he's just gonna go crazy with all these hatcheries.
Yeah, if you're sitting on three bases as the Zerg, you get kind of like an initial burst of ultras that come out, but eventually you probably do want a fourth if you want to kind of like continuously make ultras here and there. So I think Hog's probably going to be looking for that. Right now he's on the defense though, and I don't. There's not a good drop, but Hog sees it, sniffs it out. Lurker's getting in position. I don't think he's going to do a whole lot.
Sniper one lurker, that was pretty good. But I think this is the right play from Whip, right? Be a little bit, try to get areas where the Zerg's not defending, because, I mean, as the Terran, you're not going to bust the natural, right? So where else can you go as the Terran to try and be a little annoying? And I think if he can force Hawk to move units from the natural up to the main, back to the natural, back and forth, I think that's when you as the Terran can get some good openings and then make some attacks.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I think, a lot of players will try to, push the natural and then send the dropships to the third base on their own. But I mean, that's not necessarily a bad call, but it's also very strong to send your dropships in the main as you're pushing the natural, because you stretch thin those units that are defending both areas, right? So, whereas here, he went for the third, but there's going to be units at the third no matter what. And yeah, you see that drop, not doing a whole lot. This is right now a feel bad moment for Whip, because he used a lot of his marine medics that were out on the map. He lost everything. He didn't do a whole lot of damage, and now he has little map control. So it's right now it's a tough spot.
Yeah, and you see that the same exact mutalisks from the beginning of the game are still getting their value. They helped to defeat the drops just now. They even got kills on the drop ships. The mutas are still alive, and I mean Hawk's being really efficient with his units right now.
Yeah, that's definitely one thing. The mutas can definitely um, still be. I mean, when I say they lose their value, that's not. What you said is perfectly accurate. They retain a lot of uses, and one of those uses is to deal with dropships, hunt down dropships as they come in, or finish off some plague vessels like we see right there. I mean, that's going to be those mutas. If those scourge don't deal with them right now, I mean, the mutas are going to hunt them down for sure.
Oh no, he lost 3 vessels there. Man, that hurts. That hurts. And now I think Whip's feeling the pressure. He's just going for a little bit more aggression. It would be nice to deny this base for sure as Whip for Whip, but I don't think he'll be able to do that.
Yeah, the Dark Swarm kind of seals it. There's not that many units. The good thing here, he sees the expansion attempt at the bottom right. He's gonna probably deny that, I hope, because otherwise things will get out of control real quick for Whip. Meanwhile,
Yeah, but I
Hawk,
think Hawk's upgrades now. I mean, look at the ultras. His upgrades are kicked in. I think he's got the ultra speed now as well. Cracklings. I think Hawk's gonna steamroll him pretty soon here.
yeah, he's gonna get going. That's for sure. I mean, at this point, he can really switch into offense mode, right? He can start building. His ultras can tank so much damage, so he can start moving around. Hopefully, maybe denying a fourth or a third base. The third Whip did, at least, that's a good thing Whip has going for him, is that he took a third behind this. He took it a while ago, so he has a pretty strong economy. In fact, we see him up in the 2,000 almost minerals as he adds more barracks, and now he can afford to go into Bow. Well, he'll need a third gas probably, but Bow cruisers will pop out soon-ish. So yeah, that might be Whip's way kind of back into the. I wouldn't say he's out of the game, but I think he's a little bit behind right now.
Yeah, I'd say Whip is also a little bit behind, and especially while all this fighting's going on, you have Hawk trying to secure the 5 o'clock base. And it looks like he's just about cleaned up that last force there. He's got lurkers on the ramp, so he's going to take that base soon. So then Hawk's going to be on a lot of bases. Hawk's going to... Oh, he got the drone that was going to the 5 o'clock, but 12 o'clock base, Hawk's got his main third natural as well. Hawk's going to be on 4 gas soon, and even a 5th gas once he takes the 5 o'clock. So Hawk's pulling ahead.
Yeah, that's for sure. He's taking the 12 o'clock. Good plays there. And yeah, just a little bit of offense. I mean, honestly, what is one dead defiler, and one dead ultra is going to do? Not much, but it keeps Whip back, and that allows just Hawk to get more bases, secure his bases really, and then at some point, it's just going to become overwhelming for Whip, I think, unless he really gets some damage in.
But Hawk's playing pretty. I mean, sorry, Whip is playing pretty well here, playing good defensively, and Hawk's actually. I feel like Hawk wasted a lot of units too.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Maybe I haven't been giving Whip enough credit. He's been really on top of the radius. He's lost quite a few vessels, but he's still raiding most of the defilers and finding. He's really good at finding all of these bases and denying them. This is truly impressive. One of the most frustrating things is, you scout at some point randomly, and then you see, oh, there's a Zerg base here, and there's lurkers, dungeons, the defiler, and lings just waiting to be consumed, just waiting there. At that point, you can't do anything about it. But when you find just a hatchery like that with no defenses, and you take it out with just a group of Marines, that's a great trade.
Yeah, and I think Whip really look. He got the 12 o'clock hatchery just now, and he denied that 5 o'clock base for a really long time. That really put a hole in Hawk's plans, because Hawk was playing super defensive. Oh, let me just take bases. Whip actually put a good stop to some of that. And now we've got also 2 battle cruisers out. I think these will be really annoying for Hawk to deal with as well. So I think Whip's actually doing pretty well here. Oh no, but all these Scourge might take the BCs out fast.
Yeah, they'll take out. It takes a surprising amount of scourges to take out bow cruisers because bow cruisers will one shot a scourge. I think unless they get an armor upgrade, but then when the bow cruiser gets an attack upgrade, I think he's back to one shotting scourges. I think. So it's you need a surprising amount of scourges to take out bow cruisers. Yeah, and just well, he gets that one, but if you just send him two at a time, after one bow cruiser, one of the scourges is dead. That's for sure. So takes a lot of larva, takes quite a bit of gas. It's I can see why this recent-ish trend of getting bow cruisers in TVZ is actually a really strong one.
Yeah. And Hawk's still struggling. Hawk's been on the same basis for a while. Whip took the sixth, hassle free, and Whip's starting over at the 9 o'clock as well. I really think Whip has a good chance here. He was behind. Whip's also about to take the 5 o'clock now, which Hawk just got. And let's not forget it was super delayed. And Whip's doing a great job here, attacking on two fronts.
Yeah, this is honestly this is honestly incredible. I don't understand how Whip manages to get to all the Hawk's bases at the perfect time, right? Hawk can't. I mean, the hatchery's finished. He can't cancel it, but the Nidus isn't done. I mean, the Nidus builds pretty fast. I mean, he finds the right timing, gets in, kills everything, and then it gets cleaned up. But that's a win for Whip, and I think in general his late game is really impressive. I mean, he's really all over the place doing everything. Hawk might be a little bit, he got himself into a good spot, but I think maybe he's struggling just a tiny bit in terms of keeping up.
Yeah, and Hawk, I think you're right. I think he's getting flustered a little bit with just units everywhere. 12 o'clock, then 5 o'clock, then middle of the map, back to the third. Yeah, Whip's doing really solid play here.
Yeah, it's hard to, you know, when you play SK Terran or any kind of TVZ where you just make a lot of bio units, it takes a lot of actions. Each marine, you want to move them out. You can't put everything on control groups, but you kind of have to because you want to stim at least. Otherwise, your marines are kind of garbage. It takes a lot of APM. And I think it's really impressive to see Whip able to do everything well. Looks like Hawk is at least going to be able to hold on to this 12 o'clock base. So he's up to 5 bases now, and he's trying to reclaim the bottom right. It's still hard it's really hard to call. The 9 o'clock got taken out by Hawk. That's a good move. That knocks Whip back down to 2 bases, sort of. So I think it's still anyone's game.
Yeah, I think this is a good game though. This is like pretty back and forth, action everywhere. Hawk had the lead for a while. I felt like Whip was taking it back, but now, I mean, that's the trademark of a good game, right? Now I think Hawk's back in the lead, and he secured the 5 o'clock again, secured the 12 o'clock. So Hawk stabilized and taking the 11 o'clock now. So Hawk once again kind of back in the lead here, but let's see what else Whip can do. But once Zerg gets on like four gases, 5 gases, I mean, it's crazy to fight a 4 gas, 5 gas Zerg. So Hawk's fine, stabilized, and I think I'm feeling pretty confident that Hawk should be able to close the game out soon.
Yeah, I think so. Now, looking at stuff right now, I mean, these lurkers are being donated for free, but it does seem like Hawk is going ahead, just 30 supply ahead. That feels bad, and I think the 6 o'clock is going to be attacked. I see some blue stuff heading over there. Yeah, yeah, just some lings are going to take this out. Yeah, I think it came down crumbling really fast for Whip, even though it looked really close. And there's a GG.
Yeah, I think Hawk could have taken this game much earlier and easier, but I think Hawk got a little bit sloppy with some of the engages, some of his units. He was wasting a lot of units. I felt like Hawk probably thought he was like a lot ahead, which he kind of was, but Whip actually capitalized and Hawk kept wasting units. But Hawk pulls it out in the end. Pretty good game.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think I think we saw a bit of a reversal of the early game when Whip was moving out with, just random groups here and there, not getting that much done and losing them in somewhat inefficient trades. And then suddenly, when the late game kind of kicked in, suddenly it was just the opposite. Whip was finding free hatcheries is everywhere, and Hawks attacks weren't doing all that much. Yeah, overall, it's just an incredible game. I hope we can see more.
Yeah, and guys, as we get into the next game here, just another friendly reminder. Maturino, please use the code Rumble21. Use the code, donates 25 cents for free. So if you haven't done it yet, please get in there. There's almost 100 viewers on the stream right now, so I'm sure several of you have not taken the 20 seconds it takes to do it. So please go and donate to the prize pool for free.
Yeah, there's also a Patreon that can support Rogue Gallery directly to keep hosting these really cool events. So I'm sure Strom will post the link in the chat, but please consider it. They deserve it. They do so much work behind the scenes, organizing and coordinating everything. So please consider donating. It's fun. I think it's fun for everyone, the players, the viewers. It really fosters a community for the North American StarCraft scene. So if you can, drop by and drop in a couple of cents.
All right, and we're gonna go into actually game number 2 of Hawk and Whip here on Eclipse this time.
Yeah, both players are ready. We're starting the game. Let's do it.
All right, so at the 1 o'clock top right base, we've got Hawk.
And in the bottom left, red Terran, it's Whip.
So what do you think, TVZ on Eclipse? What can Whip do here, right? He's behind. You know, this is an important match, right? The winner gets qualified, and the loser, well, you were almost there, but you didn't make it. So I feel like Whip's feeling the pressure. What do you think he should do?
Well, I mean, that's always up to the player. I mean, you could try to shake things up. You could try to, catch Hawk off guard maybe with some sort of cheese. It's a two-player map, so the classic, Rax gas proxy the factory floated into two force rate kind of gimmick build. Maybe we'll see something like that. It looks like already. I mean, we see the depot at the front, so that means that he's most likely going to wall. And in this position, actually in both positions, you can have a wall where the Marine pops out inside. And so I think that might signal a gas build, although not necessarily. You can just wall off and go for a really strong, for a really early, rather, command center and just go into bio, right?
What do you think about like 2-Rax play, like a fast 2-Rax Academy, go and attack? I mean, that's old kind of build with no command center. I've seen that work before, like a really fast timing, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could. If you don't have a command center, though, I think you're fairly all in ish. Although that's my perception of it. I'm not too familiar, but I don't know. It's a two-player map. The rush distance isn't exactly short. Also, the Zerg will get a scout in relatively every time, except right now because yes, he just got in the way. But the Zerg's gonna pretty much know what you're up to, I think. And I'm surprised. Is that how you wall? I'm not surprised. I'm not too sure how you're supposed to wall here, but it's like drones fighting the SCV, and yeah. Okay. Well, anyway. So yeah. So it's not a gas build. There's no gas. So Whip's just gonna take his natural, and it looks like he's gonna go with just standard bio play here.
Yeah, looking standard from both. And looks really similar to the last game, actually, from the opening so far.
Yeah, Hawk seems to be just doing a normal 2-hatch. I think his lair was already on the way, so that is pretty quick. Yeah, Whip with the second barracks. So yeah, I mean, like you said, kind of very similar builds to what we saw in the last game.
Yep, and I do think Hawk probably will do a very similar thing. I want to see if Whip can throw in something else. I think Whip's biggest thing though is wasting all the Marines last game, in many different occasions. I think if Whip this time keeps his army together and kind of moves in one cohesive, ball of Marines, I really think he could have a much better opportunity to win here.
Yeah, that's true. He can also go for, a faster. He could also tech up a little bit faster, right? If you go 4 racks, then I think I remember Scan saying that if you go for 4 racks, if you go up to 4 racks rather, after a 2 racks academy opening, then you get your starport, I think around maybe like 7:15, something like that. But if you go 3 racks, you can get your factory going, I think at around like 6:30, 6:45-ish, something like that. So you can tech up faster, you can accumulate vessels faster, or you might even try a cheeky like double dropship play, something like that. The main is pretty big here on Eclipse, so yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. I think for now, I mean, it's just normal play from both players, so we have to wait a little bit more to see what their true intentions are.
Yeah, I want to see. What about the kind of, it used to be very heavy, like +1 5 racks. That was such a popular build like a year ago. Is it less used now, or?
Yeah, because it's not. I mean, this is kind of like, the conventional, traditional wisdom or whatever, where against 2 hatch, you go academy. You can go with an eBay first build. I think Gypsy likes doing that actually, but typically you go for 2 racks academy, and the 5 racks +1 is more for a 3 hatch muta build, right? That's because you skimp on marine count and you just go straight for the +1 because you have time, right? The mutas pop out a bit like a minute later, so you have time to get the +1 going before your academy upgrades, because your academy upgrades are really essential, right? You need stim, you need range to deal with the mutas. Before that, it's kind of hard. So if you go with the eBay first, it's tough. And looks like Whip wants to do something here, but the Sunkens are in time, so he's gonna have to turn around here.
And also one thing to call out here: Hawk did not do the same thing as last game. He actually went 2 hatch lair into 3rd hatch in base.
Yep, that's true. So that this is something that we've seen kind of recently-ish, where yeah, you go 2 hatch and then the 3rd hatch is inside your main. Essentially, it's just going to play out like a 2 hatch, except I think you have a stronger Ling Muta army in the mid game, right? Other than that, I mean, I'm not confident enough to say, what the implications are exactly.
Yeah, and so now we see some mutalisks popping now. So let's see what kind of harass Hawk can do. I mean, I see some openings for Whip space. For instance, only 1 turret there near the racks. I think there's some openings that Hawk might be able to exploit, and he's got 3 Sunkens at his main natural, so he doesn't really need to worry about a counterattack right now either.
Yeah, one thing I want to point out though is that the factory is almost done. So when I was saying 3 racks, you can start your factory around 6:30. Whip's factory, I think, is already done. So he's teching up off of 2 racks. So he has to be a little bit careful. There's a huge attack from Hawk actually. I mean, is he going to be able to hold this?
Yeah, and Hawk going for the counterattack, and that was kind of, that's what I kind of meant when he had 3 Sunkens at his natural. I felt like Hawk feels safe if any Marines are out in the middle of the map. He doesn't feel threatened by counterattack, so now he can play a little bit more offensively, and this will require Whip to come back home, defend himself, and then this gives Hawk time to basically drone up and tech up, do whatever he needs to do. So it's going according to Hawk's plan, it seems, right now.
Yeah, one thing though that's definitely not according to his plan is that he lost his 3rd is denied, which is which is a pretty big deal in PvP, right? I mean, getting the third for the Zerg is like it's kind of like the quintessential. It's an absolute requirement if the game goes past, like 9 minutes, 10 minutes. You need a third base, and right now Hawk, uh, he hasn't been able to get that third base. And as the game goes on, I mean, this is more and more into Whip's favor because Whip, I mean, sure, he lost a bunch of Marine medics, but you can afford to lose a few. So, I mean, it's kind of hard. And right now we see the armory, so I think Whip might just go for some sort of big kind of Bio and Valkyrie push. And if Hawk is still stuck on layer tech and doesn't have enough gas to make a lot of lurkers, for example, then he might be in trouble.
Yeah, that's a really good call out. No third base still. I mean, I feel like Hawk is feeling the heat. And that's credit to Whip. I mean, Whip did a really nice job denying the third. He denied drone, then he denied again at 12 o'clock. I feel like Hawk's kind of in his slight desperation mode. It doesn't even look like he's trying to take a third base now.
Yeah, if he goes all in, I mean, he has a drone sitting there, but yeah, he's making his way up the hive. So, I mean, sure, you get up to hive, but off of 2 gases, you're gonna struggle. But on the flip side, though, he's getting a lot of damage here. And okay, well, with the Valkyrie coming out, it's gonna hamper his ability to harass. But he actually denied the natural from Whip from mining for a little bit. That was actually that was significant, I think.
Yeah. So Hawk finally taking the 12 o'clock, but I think he gets one more or two more Valkyries out, gathers up his Marine forces, and I think he can make one strong push and probably end the game, unless Hawk can work some magic with the mutas.
Yeah, I think you're right. There's gonna be a push soon with the Valkyries. When you go Valkyries, it's really because you think the Zerg is overcommitting to mutas, right? They're faster answer than vessels, and so you're kind of you really want to get out there and push, and that's what we're seeing right now. So if the Valkyries go down and the Marine medic army is dealt with rather efficiently from Hawk by Hawk rather, he's going to be in a tough spot. And Scourge's coming in, they take out both. That's actually pretty huge now. The mutas, there's not okay. No, there was another group left, thankfully for Hawk. So if he micros this correctly, he might be able to hold on a nice egg here. Going to keep Whip back for a little bit while the mutas regroup and come by to defend this. And I don't know, it's still going to be close. There's a lot of units for Whip, but there's no Valkyries left. And if the vessel goes down, no irradiate, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it was a nice play by Hawk, though. Took out 2 Valkyries, and they're super expensive, so that was a great engage, but Hawk seems to have stabilized his third base now, 3 lurkers at the ramp, so, I mean, that's not going to be broken anytime soon, and he still has his full muta count. Vessel goes down now as well, so now he's down 2 Valkyries and a Vessel. Pretty good engages there by Hawk. Secure 12, and he's got his Defiler mound up now too. So yeah, Hawk, I mean, from 2 bases, we thought that he was in a bad spot, but Hawk making it work.
Yeah, he definitely made a couple of clutch plays. I mean, sniping those 2 Valkyries was incredible. The lurker egg with the 2 lurkers behind morphing. I mean, oh my god, now the mutas are paying the price for still being alive when vessels start irradiating. But oh my, yeah, that's
wow. Yeah, that hurt. That really hurt. That was like his moment to get back in the game. He made it. He was making some good plays, and then I feel like he got a little greedy there. He was trying to get that one vessel, and he paid the price there. So those mutas are pretty much unusable for a while now till they regenerate. So there goes his kind of map aggression that he had going on.
Yeah, it's definitely a dangerous game for the Zerg when you go after vessels. You don't know if they have irradiate or not, and if they do, you have to be ready to split your mutas real quick. Otherwise, they go down real quick. So, yeah, but Hawk 3 bases, not too bad. Both vessels I think use their irradiate, so they can't take out those lurkers at the third. So his third is actually safe for a while. So actually, not too bad. Whip ended up radiating the Mutas, right? So the Mutas, like I've said a million times already, I mean, they lose a little bit of their use in the late game, and so it's better for them to get irradiated than the two lurkers holding the third for Hawk. That's going to give him maybe a little bit of time he needs to get defilers consumed, and then he'll be able to really then we'll really be in the late game, for both players having late game tech and now, fighting for bases and whatnot.
And let's make sure that Hawk gets some units up to 12. Yep, using the Nidus Canal. So this 12 o'clock, it'll be fine. But Hawk knows if he loses the 12 o'clock, it's pretty much game over. So that's good. Hawk sends some more units there to defend. Behind this, I would like Whip to take a base. Perfect, yeah. Because Whip was getting kind of all-in-ish with the 2 base. So good that he's taking the third. So he knows that he can keep his lead. I would say Whip has a lead right now, but it's actually not as much as you would think, given that Hawk was on 2 bases for practically 80% of this game.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's close. Maybe Whip has just, oh man, 2 more vessels. Hawk's been doing a really good job at picking off vessels, and vessels are so key in, this kind of, down and dirty kind of TVZ game where you go after each other's bases. And if you can take out the vessels constantly, I mean, your defilers stay alive longer. Suddenly he can't afford to irradiate lurkers that are defending bases because he only has enough for the defilers, which are, obviously a little bit more important. So it's going to be close. I agree. Hawks was a little bit behind, but now, I don't know, I'm not too sure. I feel like he might be able to push Whip back, take a fourth, and, where we go from there is really, I mean, it's anyone's game, really.
Yeah, but Hawk's doing an awesome job with like vessels and chasing them down. There goes down another vessel now. So, yeah, I mean, Whip has truly not been able to amass vessels. I don't even think I've seen him with like more than 2 vessels at a time.
Yeah, that's definitely true. They do go down pretty quick. I think Whip right now not finding it. It's kind of funny. Last game, I mean, he was sending Marine medics in the late game everywhere, and he was able to deny bases and whatnot. But if Hawk right now is just on 3 bases and sitting defensively, so there's no oh my god, the catch up everywhere on the Marines. This is gonna be this is pretty painful to watch. And Lings come in, they want to clean up, and they're gonna do so pretty easily, I think.
Wow. Yeah, that was a really good play right there. But Hawk's still stuck on 3 bases. Oh, another vessel goes down. A lot of action going on kind of everywhere. Hawk trying to sneak out a drone. Another vessel goes down. Yeah, Whip's really, really feeling the pressure. He won't be able to bust through here. So this is actually playing into Hawk's hands. And you got to hand it to Hawk. I mean, 2 bases the whole game. SCV count at the 3rd base is super low. I don't know if he didn't transfer his SCVs over or what, but I think he needs to really send some SCVs over there. Because the 3rd base is basically not even being used by Whip right now.
Yeah, you're right. And, again, Whip losing a lot of his forward presence on the map. He needs to hurry and kind of get the pressure back on the Zerg, otherwise the fires will just show up to his front and the game. But Mutas and Lings, their time is over. They're not very useful anymore, so has to be a little bit careful there. The 4th rather, in the bottom right. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to get that up. I think Whip saw it, so if he goes down there immediately, it looks like he's retreating though, but if Hawk gets the bottom right going, then I think Whip's going to be a little bit in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, I'm seeing that Whip still same thing from last game. He does a good job of denying bases though. I gotta give that to him. Or he tries to. He finds them at least, like you were saying.
Yeah, nice save there by Hawk.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see a little bit of an improvement maybe, but able to save that base. But actually pretty big. If you can keep the Zerg on 3 bases forever, he can't. I mean, it's still a 3 base Zerg, a 3 gas Zerg is still pretty strong, but it might have a hard time winning, closing out the game. So that fourth base is actually pretty important as well. And getting that up, I think, will definitely boost Hawk's chance of winning.
One thing Whip's doing pretty well though now, I feel like he's starting to really amass that massive bio army, and he's kind of just going back and forth on the map, back and forth, really keeping a strong map presence. But he just keeps on losing vessels. He did a decent save there, but he still lost one vessel because I'm just really looking for Whip to amass like 5 or 6 vessels together in one army. But wow, he might get a breakthrough here. He's pushing up into 12 o'clock. Can he take this? Because that would pretty much change the entire game right now.
Yeah, let's see. We need to see the Philo out of the Nidus right now. I think it's well, although an Ultra can hold the ramp for a while, but yeah, Hawk needs something. Yeah, okay. There's the cloud.
That was close, actually.
Yeah, that was really close. You're right. Seeing nothing there, I was a little bit surprised. I was wondering where all of his units went. I guess they came back to the natural through the Nidus to defend when Whip was pushing there just a minute or two before. Yeah, but thankfully Hawk scrambled the defense in time, and yeah, the game goes on.
I still would want to see Whip transfer some more SCVs. I don't know, is the saturation proper at the third and now he's taking a fourth? Just don't know if he's using the bases efficiently because I think he has so many SCVs that is natural that need to be transferred over. It's going to be important as they go down the game here because I feel like he's going to run out of money or not mine enough.
Yeah, you're right. And oh man, Hawk barely getting that Dark Storm off in time. But oh, is it in time though? Is it close? Marines trying to squeeze in and find some damage. But one thing I'll say though is that Terran, especially when they're playing SK Terran like this, they don't need a whole lot in terms of economy. You can constantly, if you just have 2 bases mining, you're super comfortable. Even with the I think 9 barracks that we see from Whip. Um, it doesn't. It might not matter nearly as much as in PvP or PvP or something like that. Hawk getting a couple units in there, that's pretty nice. Gonna definitely deny that base for a while. Whip will probably want to put some bunkers and whatnot there. Oh, GG, he's out. Okay.
Yeah, nice play by Hawk that game. He was down to 2 bases for so long, but he made some good decisions and he came out on top. Good game. GG.
Yeah, that was a good game, good series. Hawk takes it, I guess. Somewhat expected a tiny bit, but Whip definitely impressive with his play. Though I'm really impressed by how well he keeps up with SK Terran play in the late game. It's really hard to do.
So, if we just talk about the bracket for a second, our top 4 have made it. So, congrats to Hawk, Tim, Dragon, and Gypsy. Those 4 have officially qualified here on the second qualification day, and some good matches here. Hawk versus Tim, and then Dragon versus Gypsy. And I think Gypsy versus Dragon must have started a while ago, so I don't know if we'll get to catch anything anytime soon on that.
Yeah, hopefully it'd be nice to see some. I think we haven't seen any TVP just yet. Although Tim versus Hawk is probably going to be a great series as well. So yeah, I'm excited for. I'm excited either way.
And I'm not surprised of the 4 that qualified. I think well deserved, and I think it no surprise makes sense.
Yeah, I mean the 4 names we have right now are just yeah. I mean you look at the list, you're like yeah. I mean of course it's very reasonable to see them make it to the semifinals. Um, I think I think we'll see models qualify next time. That's for sure. I think that's a big name that didn't make it through because he had to face one of the top 4. So I think we'll see him qualify next week most likely. I think Whip can easily qualify, seeing how well he played. Um, Other than that, I mean, I'm sure Rogi can make it through, and then yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think there's still quite a few good players that haven't made it through, but who will make it through next week.
Yeah, definitely. Jaeyoon, for instance, Jaeyoon we'll probably play in one of the next two qualifiers, and he'll make it. I'm sure Raz will come back in the next two qualifiers. Raz can make it. I mean, there's plenty of people who still have obviously very good chance to be in here.
Yeah, for sure, Raz. I completely forgot it. We casted his games, I think, so long ago. Also, just I think from yesterday, he would probably qualify as well. Um, yeah, so let's see. Do we have any word on what game we are going to cast next?
Looks like, yeah. Okay, so we're gonna cast Tim versus Hawk next, guys, semifinals. But we'll just take a short break here before we get into that.
All right, so we're back. We're gonna get into Tim versus Hawk right now. It's gonna be a PVZ.
Yep. So this is a good match. I mean, Hawk's been on a tear. He beat Models. He just beat Whip. Um, Hawk's looking strong. Curious to see what Tim can do. Tim's also one of the guys who's improved so much over the past 1-2 years. I remember Tim being on my CPL team like 2 years ago, and now Tim's Tim's a super solid player. So can't count him out.
Yeah, definitely one of the players that shot to fame. Anyway, he rose up through the ranks pretty quickly, I think. Yeah, and like you said, Hawk's been super solid, and I'm looking at his opponents from yesterday. He played Raz in the first round. He won that 2-0. He beat Crane. But hold on, we're in the game, and so let's do the intros right now. We have Hawk down here in the bottom left as the blue Zerg.
And then we've got Tim, Mr. Rose up the ranks himself at the 11 o'clock.
Yeah, so as I was saying, Hawk's been playing some really good players. He lost to Kraazy yesterday in the third round, so he didn't make the top 4 then. He's made it now, obviously, but yeah, he's been going through some pretty stiff competition, and so he's really a super solid player.
And let's see what I think Tim's going for the 10 gate opening here. Yep, 10 gate. Let's just go and scout now. Looks like, unfortunately for Tim, he's going to get the last scout. And it looks like Hawk is going for 11 hatch. So, once again, 11 hatch is actually quite good against the 1 gate opening, especially if it's a 10 gate opening, because the Zerglings are going to pop probably around the time the Zealot gets to the ramp. So you, as the Protoss, will struggle to really do anything, honestly. But it's still a good opening, 1 gate. Don't get me wrong. I think you can still be the aggressor. There's always a way to get something done. So let's see. That'll be interesting. And Hawk is now scouting with his drone, so he will see that it's a 1 gate opening. So let's see how they both react to this.
Yeah, I think I'm curious to know how things have changed for Zergs now that the not I mean the forward gate opening being so ubiquitous. Like the pull timing you just mentioned, is that fairly common now? Is that kind of like the standard way to open for Zerg, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the most common openings in ZVP is like overpool, obviously, 11 hatch, and then 12 hatch. I do think 11 hatch is becoming super popular because it's good economically, and you're also good against 2 gate, and you're also good against 1 gate. So, but let's see. Oh, Hawk doing a little bit of dancing here to buy time for the Zerglings, and the Zerglings should be popping right about now. So I don't think we should see any kills, but I think Hawk was a little greedy. I think he made a drone, and then he made the Zerglings. His Zerglings actually seemed a little bit late here. So
Yeah, I definitely thought we were going to see 6 links pop out, but only 4 came out, and the Zealot gets to he manages to get to that sweet spot behind, although he's coming to the front now, trying to take out a drone.
Wonderful. I think he's killed 2 Zerglings so far and a drone, I believe.
Yeah, another Zealot comes in here. Not sure if it's going to get much done, though. Being pummeled by Lings already, surrounded on both sides. The probe goes down, the Zealot goes down. So, yeah, overall, I mean, what do you think? Was that worth it?
He lost 2 Zealots and a probe, so he lost 250 minerals, consider it this way. I would say the Protoss probably lost a little bit more, to be honest. And now he has no Zealot back at base. Cannon's not done yet. He's in a bad position. He might have to come and wall his base a little bit. Oh no.
Yeah, that's a lot of Lings.
should be okay, but the cannon needs to finish quickly. He should be fine though. But he's losing some probes here for free, mining time. So not only was he a little bit behind from losing 2 zealots, he's also, I mean, right, that just put him behind even further. So
Yeah, I think I counted about 3 or 4 probes going down there on the defense, not counting the one that went down on the offense in Hawk's base. So, and Hawk got his 3 hatches up. Um, yeah, I mean, is it too early to kind of get an idea of what we might see out of both of these players as we head into the mid game?
So I think Tim hasn't really got good scouting. So I think Tim has to go Stargate. And I don't know what Hawk's doing, but Hawk got some good damage, and I wouldn't be surprised if he just puts down a den.
Yeah, we haven't seen. That's something I've been meaning to ask you actually. Usually when I watch, ASL ZVPs, I see a lot of early Hydra dens into, not necessarily a kind of all-in bust, but at least they'll go up there and take out the forge, the gateway at least, with the range. Maybe they don't go all in, maybe they go all in, but so far in all the ZVPs I've seen, I don't think anyone has gone for that kind of early Hydralisk into, lots of pressure kind of build. Do you have any idea why that is?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. I think it's because it's single elimination, and the truth is, if you go 3-hatch Hydra all in, and it just totally gets failed because the Protoss decided to make a second or third cannon blindly, right? Just as an example. Oh, there goes your 3-hatch Hydra bust, right? And I don't think the Zerg players are right now. They want to take the risk. And the players that Hawk's been facing, I feel like he has the perception that he's better than them to begin with. So I think his whole thing is, why do I even need to do that? I'd rather just play a real game outright. That's pretty much what Hawk's been doing.
Yeah, sure. I think Hawk strikes me as a very methodical, maybe the Zerg equivalent of Dragon in terms of just plays straight up every time. I know he's a coach, I think, on the same team as me this season, and he's been giving some advice to people, and he's very methodical. He's telling people to do 4 pool 20 times in a row because it teaches the fundamentals. So yeah, just to give you an insight into the Hawk's mind.
Yeah, and I think so. Tim should probably see here. I believe that Hawk should be opening up with a couple of Mutalisk here. Hydra Den is still not placed. Second gas was a little bit early, and obviously Tim has seen the Spire now, right? So should see Tim just be wary of mutas. I think that's what Hawk should be doing. Obviously, there's no Den yet, so.
Yeah, we saw him get a couple of overlords. 2 overlords is still manageable, right? I mean, that's not too crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it hurts a little bit. Usually the Zerg expects to like lose 1 overlord sometimes, but 2, a little bit, it hurts, I guess. But I just want to see if he actually goes into like a heavy muta play here.
Yeah, sure. As we see the Scourges scouting the base and essentially seeing the Tim's base, what he's doing, what he's up to right now. Going up to, I think, about 6 hatcheries now for Hawk. Yeah, this seems to be popular, getting a lot of hatcheries at third with the Cincy, the sunken behind the minerals. Yeah.
Yeah, and so all these extra sunkens that he's getting also kind of dictates that he's going to go into the defensive mode a little bit here. I think he's waiting for Tim to make some sort of zealot timing attack, and I think he just playing super defensive here because 2 sunkens is kind of more than normal. Usually you can get 1 sunken behind your sim city and you'd be fine, but I think he's preparing for it. But I'm surprised Hawk didn't get any mutas. He just went like mass scourge and just waiting now. Oh, there's a mutas. Okay, I was surprised because it was like 2 gas so early. Mutas just made sense.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you actually. I was just seeing all these Scourges and absolutely no mutas. It seemed a bit strange to me, but I guess Was he expecting something like Shuttle Reaver Mass Corsair or something? Is that the rationale for going for so many Scourges before making any mutas?
I think he was just waiting to see if he would come with his Corsairs and just crush the Corsairs and then just go in with the mutas. So I don't know. I think Tim's in a tough position here though.
Yeah, let's see how he deals with this. The mutas coming in, they're gonna take out Cannon Freezy, and the Scourges are gonna head to. Oh my god, a couple of nice connections, but actually no Corsair going down just yet. Looks like.
Oh, nice storm
Yeah.
on the Scourge. You need that, but only 3 Sairs left. I think this is still going to be 2 left now. A lot of mutas left, so as long as he doesn't get stormed, he can do a lot of damage here with those mutas. I feel.
Yeah, we're seeing that damage just. Oh my god, the storm taking out a couple pros, doing some damage to the mutas at least, but the Archon gets. Oh my god.
Oh wow.
Can you get a second? Not. Oh my, this is so. Hawk with. Oh god.
And
Okay.
see, this is why I was kind of saying earlier that, you know, Tim had scouted it. Early second gas, no den at the normal timing. So the signs for Mutalisk were there. Tim needed to be a bit better prepared here. He needed to get 2 cannons at the main at least. And I don't know if he even got +1 on the Corsair. So I felt like Tim knew it was coming, but I think he underestimated the power of it.
Yeah, I mean it was definitely the mutas. I mean the cannon went down real quick, and I think he got a lot of probes. I didn't keep track of that, but I think he got a lot of probes before the transfer happened. So, and the mutas are still looking for more. The cannon's not quite done, and Tim looks like he's committing to a push. Is this gonna work out?
Yeah, and then Hawk already kind of preempted this. He's got the defenses set up, extra Sunkins. I mean, this is Tim's kind of big push here. If this fails, we should probably see a GG.
I think he needs some storms in there. I don't think he has any though. He's just trying to fight a ton of Hydralisks. Yeah, GG, he's out of there.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised Tim saw it all. I don't know if he realized or if he underestimated the mutas, but I felt like Tim was in a decent position, but he needed to just be ready for those mutas.
Yeah, definitely looked that way. The mutas did quite a number on him, and I think Hawk was preempted, the kind of desperate counterattack too. I mean, the Sunkins were already there. Yeah, Hawk just in a really solid position throughout the game, and yeah.
But good play by Hawk. I mean, he was prepared. He went in with that mind of the strategy. I mean, early on, extra Sunkins. Also, I think his hatchery was misplaced that game at the natural. I don't know if we talked about that or not, but I think his hatchery was misplaced at the natural. I think it was 1 pixel off.
What was it? I didn't quite notice, but yeah, we'll see. Next game, Eclipse. No, Kraazy is putting words in our mouths right now. We're not. It's okay. we don't mind. It's okay. It's fine.
Okay, I thought so, but I could be totally wrong. All right, guys. So we're going into game 2 here. Hawk and Tim. Semifinals. Another shameless plug. Please donate to the Matcherino. 25 cents. It's free. It's gonna take you 10 seconds.
All right. So game number 2, we're on Eclipse. Tim versus Hawk. Right here in the top right, it's our Protoss player. It's Tim.
And in the bottom left, we have Hawk, who seems unstoppable right now.
Yeah, Hawk is on a real tear. I think he wants to get qualified this week. He wants to take it easy next week. I mean, he's already qualified, rather, but I think he wants that first seed as well.
Yeah. So I think, knowing Tim, I don't think Tim's going to change it up too much. I would anticipate Tim to just do his thing. And I think Tim played fine last game. He just, the mutas, I don't think he realized it. So hopefully this time Hawk does something a little funky. He can see it and react appropriately.
Yeah, sure. What do you think his response should have been if he had, knowing, well, seeing that everything was pointing towards mutas? What could he have done to be more prepared?
So I don't think he had +1 air. So that's one. And then two, if you know it's coming, you just throw down like an extra cannon or two at your main and another cannon or two at your natural mineral line. Pretty much all you need to do.
And we haven't.
And just an update, guys, on the bracket. I know we're covering Hawk and Tim right now, but on the other semifinal side, we had Dragon versus Gypsy, and Dragon has won 2-1 against Gypsy there. So Dragon has moved on to the finals.
Yeah, we might get Dragon versus Hawk unless Tim can pull the series back in his favor.
Yeah, and that'll be a really great match as well. This is good right now. Tim doing a little bit of delaying. Oh, he could have delayed it probably a bit more there, but anything helps there, I guess, in the delay. Tim has opened up with one gate again. Similar to last game, very common opening, and Hawk also kind of very standard opening here as well.
Yeah, I mean, so immediately I noticed that the Zealot's not heading across the map. Is there any reason? I mean, why is that? What do you think that is?
Well, I think one, we might have missed the opening. I don't think he did an overpool, but he might have done overpool. That's why. If they do overpool, then it wouldn't make sense to send it. That's one. And then two, typically if they make 4 lings or more immediately, you may not want to send the Zealot. You might want to just play defensive because the Zerg can just straight send their Zerglings straight across the map. And once the Zerglings get inside of your main base, it becomes a bit cumbersome for you to deal with. So I think we just missed the opening build. I think it was an overpool, so that would make sense.
So from here, I mean, what does it change from Tim's perspective? Is he still gonna make continuous Zealots, trying to look for that kind of 5 Zealot move out, or maybe with speed +1, something like that?
Yeah, I think Tim's plan here doesn't change. I think, though, you as the Protoss player need to know that, hey, I opened up one gate. I didn't do anything with it. So you do want to do something. And I think that is exactly what you said. I think he needs to get that 3 Zealot, 5 Zealot attack, do something with it, right? Otherwise, Hawk's pretty much just droning up for free, in a sense. Because if you think about it, Hawk got away with making, 6 to 8 Zerglings, pretty much? That's pretty much nothing when a Protoss player opens up with one gate. So, right now, I would actually say Tim's probably a little bit behind. So, I'm glad he's coming out with those Zealots right now, but I think it is a mistake to go all the way into the natural. It is a long walking distance. And it's good. See, Tim's doing the right thing. You go all the way. You make Zerg think that you're coming, so they make more Zerglings. So you already accomplished the goal of having the Zergs halt their drone production and make more Zerglings. And that is what Hawk should have done. I don't know if we can see if he got juked out by that or not. Hawk might have.
It looks like he hasn't really.
Yeah.
I don't think he got phased too hard. 4 more lings, but other than that, I think we saw some drones pop out. So
but 12 Zerglings is the right amount, though. Typically, they say 4 Zerglings per 1 Zealot. Unless you're like Bisu or someone like that, then they say that the pros are like, oh, if it's Bisu Zealots, I need 6 Zerglings to fight it, blah blah blah. But normal human being, you just 4 Zerglings for 1 Zealot. So Hawk actually is smart. He didn't overmake the Zerglings. He's like, okay, I see 3 Zealots coming. All I need are 12 Zerglings.
Yeah, sure. It definitely looks like a really collected response to what came out. Now I think he sees the Zealots move out, and his Lings are actually taking the path just to the north. Looks like he's looking for a counterattack, but at the same time, oh, he's gonna find an open. There's nothing here. The Lings get in. They're gonna take out the cannon. What is Tim gonna do? He's still moving. Oh, he's coming
Oh
back.
no, this is
Oh, this
bad.
is
Yeah,
yeah, this is not looking good.
not looking good. And Tim is required to pull those four zealots back to the base. They're very slow. Cannon down, probes down. This many Zerglings is a nightmare. Probes are just going down now. I mean, this sets Tim quite far behind.
Yeah, this is
And
gonna.
behind this, Hawk didn't have to Zergling up nothing. He was probably droning and teching. So, yeah, this is a good move by Hawk and really sets Tim behind.
Yeah, there's so many probes going down. Looks like he made a lot of links though. Maybe he still wants to put the pressure on, although Tim is back in his base. No cannon just yet. A couple skirmishes is gonna. Yeah, he gets this. This is gonna be tough. I mean, Tim. I'm not sure where his advantage lies if he has any left at this point.
Yeah, and now no cannon. So Hawk's a smart player. He's like, okay, no cannon. Let's see what I can do. And this is a hard position for the Protoss because you can't just send your zealots straight out. Otherwise, the Zerglings will surround you, and this will be huge if he gets the forge down this early.
Yeah,
I
he
don't
was kind
think
of.
he will though.
Yeah, he was. I think he was baiting out the zealots a little bit, coming back in with more links to get more hits on them. But yeah, he ends up. He doesn't quite get the forge. Another Corsair goes down. I mean, um, oh wow, Tim has had enough. He's out. GG.
Yeah, honestly, I don't blame him for that. It was pretty much over. He lost 2, 3 Corsairs. I mean, probe line decimated. It was pretty much over.
Yeah, so pretty quick games here. Hawk dispatches of Tim, and he's gonna move on to the finals. He's gonna face Dragon, another ZVP. I think it's gonna be some pretty. I think it's gonna be a quite a fitting finals to this qualifier.
Yeah, this is gonna be an awesome match. Awesome match, and Hawk is on a tear. The man is just pummeling everybody. And then on the other side, you've got Drag, who I mean, Drag's PVZ solid, truly solid. I mean, crazy good macro. Um, I mean, when Drag hits you with that 12-minute timing attack, I mean, Drag hits you strong. I mean, I'm curious to see how Hawk will do. I would not be surprised if we actually see Hawk now bust out a 3 hatch Hydra or something like that against Drag.
Yeah, I'm hoping to see a little bit of early Hydra pressure. I think it's a lot of fun. It's the reaction from the Protoss, getting more cannons. I also like the variant where you don't go all in, right? Where you only make a few Hydras and you actually take out maybe the forge and the gateway, and actually behind that you drone up and you tech up, and that's also I think a fun way to see the matchup go into the mid and late game.
Yeah. And then, Drag's PVZ, I mean, similar. We saw him ZVP earlier, right? But his PVZ is going to be very similar in that regard with um, quote unquote robotic play, but super, super strong macro. Like, I mean, even me, like my PVZ, Drag's taught me like so many things in PVZ over the years. So I think PVZ is Drag's best matchup by far.
Yeah, I definitely, from what little I know, I think I've heard also his PVZ is quite is very strong. Um, but I mean Hawk. I mean I feel like we've been following Hawk a lot these past today and yesterday, and
Yeah.
I mean I don't know. I feel like I have a slight bias now. I feel like I want Hawk to win and to come out of this first.
I gotta root for Nas, man. Dragon, let's go.
Yeah, still waiting on Dragon to join the game. Um, yeah, Polypoid again. We still haven't seen Sylphid. I'm kind of I'd like to see different maps, but maybe not. Maybe that's a tall order for the qualifiers now.
Yeah, and if you look at like most of the bracket, most of it was just 2-0, 2-0, 2-0 for most of the people. So most of it just seeing the first two maps, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. A lot of twos, just a couple of 2-1s. Hawk models, Keen and Hatchery Cake, and Dragon and Gypsy, I think, are the only 2-1s that I see. Yeah. Seems anyway.
Hawk and Drag have like when they both go into like their late game kind of defensive mindset type of play, they both have like the same kind of style in a sense. Like Hawk will be like, okay, I'm gonna just play defensive and I'm gonna wait for my opponent to make a mistake. And then Drag does the same thing. So I mean, we could have 30-minute games if they both decide to do that. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, you're right. Now that I think about it, they do seem. I think I mentioned at some point that Hawk now he seems to me like basically the Zerg version of Dragon, just solid play and then takes his time and eventually just has an overwhelming advantage where you can't really escape, lose being in a losing position. So yeah, I mean, I hope we're still gonna have some pretty exciting games. I don't know if you saw Kraazy and Boa play yesterday, but that was I think you did. I think you mentioned how good that series actually was. But yeah, I mean, Kraazy was counterattacking everywhere, and it was a very exciting game to watch. Hopefully we get something similar here.
Yeah, no, I did catch a little bit of that. Those were some good games too. I mean, the North American scene, the interesting thing about it is, in my opinion, it's much different than the European scene, if we want to use that word, right? Because in Europe, um, you've got people like Bonnet and DeWalt who are like undisputed players over there in a sense, right? But I think North America is more interesting in that sense that I truly don't think we have any undisputed one, two, or three, my opinion, because I feel like all the top players are very close in skill, and it makes for some exciting games, and you don't really know the results.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. I mean, when I look at the top four from yesterday, I mean, skill level wise, I mean, for me, they're all up there pretty much at the same place, S, pretty much S rank, maybe low-ish S, not top tier pro gamer Korean level, but they're all pretty much at the same level. And you're right. Yeah, all the games, especially in the later rounds, I mean, there's no real mismatch. I think it's all really exciting games, exciting StarCraft to watch.
Yeah, and I think I mean, you could very say like, oh, Boa is super strong. Boa has been beating everyone, blah blah blah. But Boa has primarily been playing PvZ, and that's Boa's best matchup. He's like a PvZ specialist. But then if you put Boa in PvP, he won't be as strong, right? So in the North American scene, it's a lot also matchup dependent as well. You can't just look at one person's matchup and say like, okay, they're beating everyone, they're the best. Um, Whereas you could take someone like Gypsy, who's super strong in TVZ, but he could lose to a Protoss. Like it just depends. Like everyone truly is close, and the matchups really matter.
Yeah, sure, I agree with that 100%. Looks like Dragon has joined the game, so we might be almost ready. I think we're gonna have just a little 30-second break, or rather just pause, and I think we'll get into it really shortly here. So, what's your prediction? Just gut feeling. Who do you think is gonna take it?
I think Dragon wins this, and I'm not. I'm trying to remove my NAS bias from this, but I think Dragon wins 2-0.
Yeah, I think you know what. I'm gonna call it 2-1 for Hawk. I think Hawk's gonna he's gonna lose one, but I hope he's gonna take it. Okay, so in the top right, it's our red Zerg player. It's Hawk.
All right, and then at the 11 o'clock top left, we have Dragon.
So,
So I Dragon is the kind of guy who still, no, even though one gate is obviously very popular,
mhm.
Drag is the kind of guy who will still bust out the Forge. So I won't be surprised if we see a Forge here from him.
Yeah, sure. Do you think so? If Hawk opens with a pool timing that's meant to defend against a forward gate. Um, if Dragon goes for instead just a forge expand, is he ahead? Is it significant, or does it not matter all that much?
It doesn't matter too much. It just that Hawk will need to realize it and see that he shouldn't be making extra Zerglings, obviously, you know? You might just, as Zerg there, you might just make just the 2 Zerglings. And then that's it. And then obviously you would realize it. And Hawk, you'll see, he's going to get the first scout as well, so with his Overlord. But it does look like, in fact, Drag is not going old school. He with the Forge, he is Drag has gotten with the times. He's going Gateway. And I say that because Drag is one of those guys who, even though there's new stuff, new strategies, new stuff coming out from the pros, Drag's the kind of guy who will just stick with what works.
Yeah, and I think if you've been around for a while, you have knowledge of older builds, things that might not be quite flavor of the month, and that can be a strength if people don't know how to react to those things, right?
Absolutely. So Hawk did go 11 hatch this game, so pretty standard as we know, especially from previous games, versus Dragon's 10 gate. And so we know from prior games, 11 hatch is good versus the gate opening, and we should see the Zerglings pop around the time that the Zealot gets over there. I did notice though against Tim, he was a little bit greedy. He made like some extra drones before he made the Zerglings, so we'll see if he decides to do that again against someone like Dragon.
One thing I noticed though is that the Overlord um, went ahead and sort of revealed itself there. Does that matter? What is Hawk looking for? Moving that Overlord further in a little bit. I thought you could see everything from the over the sort of cliff on the side there.
I don't think it's really anything relevant. I mean, a lot of Zergs do keep it like towards the corner of the cliff. Some will bring it all the way into your base to see what you're teching right away. Some keep it in front of your base. And sometimes when they keep it in front of your base, that could be a sign for Hydra sometimes.
To deal with the DTs, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
All right, so
so
Drag doing a good job here. You don't want to lose the probe, right? You lose the probe, then you're in the dark. He does see, okay, 6 Zergling count. So Drag also knows I can't just go in. Now we've got 8 Zerglings. So Drag needs to be careful. Wow, 10 Zerglings now.
yeah,
So
more links.
Hawk is kind of trying to go for a big attack here and pressure at the front.
Yeah, he has a zealot hitting the hatchery. We'll have to see if that eventually turns out to be relevant. But yeah, a lot of links heading over, more links heading over. Is this going to be an all-in? Is there any way out after this for Hawk?
Yeah, this is a lot. This is going to be hard to stop. And Drag has that one Zealot back at the base. I think Drag needs to get that Zealot that's attacking the hatchery. He could leave it there because he might kill the hatchery in the long run. But he needs to be really careful here. I think he needs to bring a probe or 2 over.
Oh, I think that probe might be blocking
Oh
the
no,
zealot. Has a little bit hard time. He gets around it.
oh
They get picked
no.
off. Oh my God, this is done, isn't it? I mean, the links are in. There's nothing left.
Yeah,
No.
this is probably done. Wow.
That was really quick, surprising by Hawk. I think the probe was blocking the zealots a little bit. I think he tried to bring them back, but instead they kind of went into a random direction off to the left, and the probes go. Oh my God, it's a massive
Wow,
hit.
it's done. Wow, I'm surprised. I am Drag made the mistake that his probe it died when he only saw 6 Zerglings. Hawk then started pummeling in the Zerglings after that, and Hawk made the decision to do that because he realized that one Zealot was away from the base. So I feel like Hawk actually reacted quite smartly to that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that would make a lot of sense. The probe going down, and you think you might be safe, but then yeah, a lot of hatcheries making a lot of lings real quick.
Wow. Well, there goes my 2-0 prediction.
Yeah, I'm still on track for 2-1. I think it's looking more likely now.
You know, that whole kind of Zergling all in like that, though, against gate opening, It is truly one of the risks of opening gate first. Like, I have lost tons of games kind of similarly like that. It happens when you go one gate, honestly.
Yeah, I remember. I'm not sure. Obviously playing one gate or four gate like that was probably popular before, but I remember back in like one of the last OSLs that we ever had, I think Jangbi busted that out. And let's just do the intro first, and I'll get back to it. But so right here we have Dragon in the top right as the red Protoss.
And then we have Hawk, who truly is undefeatable at the bottom left.
Yeah, so just to finish my thought, I remember seeing Jangbi bust out those kinds of builds. I think maybe not in the finals, but in during one of the last OSLs, he was opening gate a lot instead of Forge. And I think, if I recall correctly, it was one of those times where it was something that wasn't seen, at all almost in pro games. So, and I remember, it wasn't like it seemed like that was the time where, oh, you can open Forge, I mean Gateway first, and it's actually not like a gimmick. It's not excessively vulnerable to anything. It's actually quite a solid way to open in
Yeah.
PvZ.
I think this game, Dragon is also going for one gate again. Oh, never mind, he's not. Okay, good. I was gonna actually say that I would think Drag would just go Forge first. Like, that's why I was saying it last game for Polypoid 2. Like, Drag strikes me more of a Forge kind of guy. Um, and he can kind of get into his mojo that way.
So we see Hawk with the hatchery at the third. Actually, what do you think? Is it just kind of like is he just playing a prank on Dragon, or is this significant?
I think it is in fact something like it could be two things. One is you would think as a Zerg, okay, the probe is going to be here soon, and he doesn't want to get the hatchery delayed too much, right? Because then they can bother you at the NAT by like
Yeah,
stopping
sure.
you from building the hatchery. So it could be preemptive play in that sense, and I think it's probably more to do with that.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like Dragon's gonna find out right away that the hatchery just happens to be at the third. And um, is it? Oh, is he going for? Looks like he might go for a cannon rush here.
Yeah, wow. And I think it has the potential to work because it's also further away from his main base, right? So more time, but and wow, he closes it off right there.
The last second there, that's real close. Yeah, there's
And
the
let's
cannon.
let's also remember the fact that Drag actually went 10 Forge. Drag didn't go your more normal, like, you would get it like at 11, for instance. He got a 10 Forge. So this could be one of those things that Drag kind of planned. Like, okay, 10 Forge. If he goes early hatchery, I'm going to get him with a cannon rush. So otherwise, you wouldn't really get a 10 Forge unless you think like you're playing Tai 2 and you think he's going to go like 4 pool or something like that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I remember in the previous World Gallery event, the one with the teams, that the name eludes me right now, but I remember Jaeyoon, who was the captain for my team. He played Dragon on this map, and he got cannon rushed as well. And it ended up being quite a degenerate game with Jaeyoon hiding a base next to Dragon's base and stuff like that. But yeah, I think this is really Dragon's game plan from the get-go on this map, like just going for a cannon rush. Uh, Maybe not no matter what, but definitely as kind of like his main plan.
Yep, I agree with the 10 Forge. And now I think Drag's got the game, like he became the aggressor here behind his Nexus. And this is the kind of play that Drag will excel at now. Like he takes the advantage, he can sit back, macro, and do his kind of robotic drag ways, if you will, and he can really capitalize now. And he get the full scout, so now he knows. Okay, Hawk's on 2 hatch. I see a fast lair. Okay, well, how many options does Hawk really have now?
Mm-hmm. Sure, yeah. Do you think, I'm curious, because the cannon rush started and Hawk scouted it, and he did not, I think he had the opportunity to cancel the hatchery Is that something he should have done? I mean, he built a sunken, but the sunken isn't in range of anything. I mean, that seems like a bit of a misstep, isn't it?
He probably thought he could save it, and I think the sunken being there, I think he was trying to do that trick where the sunken can outrange the cannon. There
Uh,
is like there is a trick like that, but clearly, clearly it was just a misplaced sunken.
yeah, it ended up not. Now he just has a sunken there, and it's a bit of a tough spot there. So, I mean, where do we go from here? I mean, Hawk, I think we can agree is a little bit. I mean, oh, he already has a Spire up, so I mean, is this Hawk's way back into the game? Is he even significantly behind? You think?
Yeah, Hawk is definitely behind, and Drag, he got the full scout. He saw two hatch, fast lair. If I was Drag, I would think immediately it's got to be Muta. Very, very rare chance lurker. Um, but Muta's probably the way, and I mean, we saw Drag already started the Stargate, and I'm sure that Drag will probably make a cannon behind as well. But I think Drag's got the read.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So, I mean, so Hawk's way back into the game. I mean, it's still going to be the Mutas, right? I mean, he has almost nothing else going on at this point.
Yeah, I think Hawk's gonna make like 5 mutas or so, and just try to harass a little bit and buy himself time. And you see, he's taken the 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock expansion, and then he's also put down another hatchery at his natural. So
And it looks like Dragon got quite a few cannons at the front, right? Was he maybe thinking that Hydras might show up, or are these all the cannons were from the Mutas? They seem a little bit off, like they seem a little bit too far to the left.
I didn't see the cannons, but
I think yeah, he went up. Yeah, so yeah, what we see right now, he went up to 3 cannons, and yeah, they're a bit
he's
far.
also getting +1 air too. But and the cannons at the base. So I think Drag's playing more of I don't know exactly what it could be, but let me just play it safe on both sides of it because I'm ahead anyway. I think that's the approach that he's taken.
Yeah, sure, and he cancels a cannon there. Even he's confident he doesn't need it to hold the Mutas, I guess.
The thing is, Dragon has not scouted that base at 5 o'clock, which is actually a pivotal base for Dragon to see.
Yeah, he might. His read might be. He might think he's a little bit farther ahead than
Yeah,
he actually is.
because if he doesn't see that base, which I think he might, he's kind of circling the whole map with that Corsair. But if he doesn't see it, then he would just think, okay, this guy's on 2 base, 3 hatcheries. What can he even do, right? So Drag's really got to find this base. Otherwise, Drag is going to assess the situation much differently.
Yeah, right now he's just sitting. He's sitting back with his Corsairs. I wonder if he's just expecting some sort of. If he's expecting some sort of mutalist all in or something. Yeah, because I mean, the longer this goes on, I mean, the better it is for Hawk, right? He's getting his third up. He has a second hatchery down there. Yeah, so it looks like Dragon's moving out now. So +1 timing probably right now it's 0, but I assume it's on the way, right?
Yeah, I'm sure +1 will pop soon, probably by the time he gets to the base. Does Drag know about that base? He's headed there.
Maybe he wants to check on it. I mean, is he just getting distracted? It looks like yeah, he's heading there. Okay, well, I mean now he must know that there's something there. Why would the Lynx just hang out?
So I'm sure maybe perhaps we missed it then because he seemed like he was going here with the intention to kill the base, you know.
Yeah, sure. And now Corsair's doing some damage. Oh man, the Scourge just fly past, and with these 2 hatcheries falling, and surely he's gonna cancel the whatever that is. I think another hatchery, and this is looking pretty bad for Hawk.
Yeah, it's Hawk's plan. Like this was Hawk's plan to come back into the game with this kind of sneaky ninja expansion, and clearly it did not work.
So,
yeah.
if you're in Hawk's shoes, I mean, what's your next like more and more desperate attempt at coming back in the game? Looks like he's making Hydra then, but
Yeah, I mean, there's not many options. I mean, mutas are going to stop working soon because he's amassed a lot of Corsairs with +1 attack now. I mean, +1 carapace on the mutas isn't going to do much, honestly. I mean, and then from there, you just get lurkers and you just play defensive and you try to get your base back. I mean, Hawk still has the base, right? He still has 5 o'clock technically.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, only the main hatchery went down, but yeah, yeah. I guess it's not maybe as bad as I thought previously.
Yeah, I mean, this is still very behind, but he's not out of the game yet.
Yeah, so now Dragon with a Zealot Corsair army. It looks like it's time for round two. He's heading back down. Is he gonna go for the third again? I mean, that's a lot of scourges, but a couple Archon hits, connect of Corsair 2 went down. DP did not find that much damage, it looks like, and goes down. So good defense there by Hawk. Let's see if he can hold on. I think this is key right now. If he can hold on to the third, maybe the game goes on and in a more sort of a balanced state than it is right now.
Yeah, I think this is the pivotal moment if he can defend. But with that one Archon in there, this is hard to defend. Drone Drill isn't going to help you. And I think we'll see a GG here soon for Hawk.
Yeah, there's a lot of Corsairs and the Archon providing a lot of protection, threatening to get a big splash hit onto the mutas. More Corsairs going down to the Scourges. There's still 2 left. The mutas are down to 7 of them. I think you're right. I think it's barely just not enough for Hawk to hold on here. Yep, GG.
Yep. Yeah, so I mean, honestly, Drag had the true mastermind play there, right? Opening with the 10 Forge, with the preemptive nature that, okay, if this guy goes 12 hatch, I'm going to just cannon rush him, or 11 hatch, whatever. And it actually worked more into Dragon's hands because Hawk made the natural at the third to be preemptive so the probe doesn't block it, but that actually ended up hurting Hawk because now his base is further away and he's getting cannon rush, so it's even harder to stop. So it actually worked out better for Dragon that game.
Yeah, you're right. When you think about it, maybe it wasn't so wise to take the third first. So the final match. Now we're gonna finally see Sylphid being played after 2 days. I mean, I guess we should discuss the map a little bit. I mean, PVZ, Sylphid. Is there anything notable we should know heading into this game?
I really like Sylphid. It's one of my favorite maps, and I think it's just a super balanced map. I think um, as Protoss, do not get contained on this map. If you get contained, um, it's already going to be too difficult to break out. And I think one gate opening is good here because the distances are not too far away compared to something like Polyploid, for instance.
Mm-hmm. So it looks like both players. Well, one player is ready. Let's wait for Hawk to come back. Sylphid. Yeah, that's definitely the way I see it as well. The rush distances are pretty short. Um, and so yeah, Zealot Harass. I think obviously I play PvP, but the Zealot Harass is definitely seems more prevalent on this map more than anything. Um, so yeah, I think that is what we might see indeed.
Yeah, and I would think here. I don't know. It's sometimes harder for Zerg to, I feel, defend different bases, and if you take the wrong expansion and Protoss attacks from a good angle, it's hard for Zerg sometimes to defend it. And I've seen those kinds of things. So I'm curious to see what openings they decide to choose.
All right. So up here in the top middle spot, it's the final game. It's Dragon with the Red Protoss.
And at the bottom right, we have Hawk. It's 1-1, and the winner of this will win the entire qualifying day.
Yeah, I guess we can get just a tiny bit of admin out of the way before everything else. Two more qualifiers next week. Don't forget Friday, Saturday. Friday, that's 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. And on Saturday, that's 2 p.m. Eastern and then 11 a.m. Pacific. So if you want to participate, um, it might be a good time. A lot of good players have qualified already, so try to sneak in, have some fun.
Yeah, and also there are about 130 plus people in the stream right now, so that's awesome. Please go and contribute to the Matcherino. Take you 20 seconds. The code is Rumble21. Take you 20 seconds. Please add to the prize pool when you can.
Yeah, Maturino and the Patreon as well. So I'm sure we'll get some links in the chat. So yeah, looking at the openings, I think we have a gate again from Dragon, Story Gate, and then we have a pool first though from Hawk. So
Yeah, was this a 9? Sorry, I missed it. Was this a 9 pool or over pool? It was. Yeah, it was. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. See, this is the problem. Like that happened to Dragon last time. I don't want to see him lose to Zerglings again, and I feel like Hawk isn't afraid to pull that trigger if he needs to.
I think we saw a PVZ on this map yesterday, and I think Shafir was telling me that the wall on this map for Protoss is actually a little bit tricky, um, because it's hard to have just like a one gap wall on this map. Is that accurate? Do you think that will play into Hawk's choice of strategy here to maybe make a lot of lings again?
It's a two. Well, it's technically a 3 gap wall, but one in the middle, and then you need 2 on the right side. But you can use a Zealot and a Probe. So it's not too bad, no. But yeah, it could play into the decision for a Zerg because it's just more openings.
Yeah, and we see the lings. There's only one ling chasing the probe, while the other lings might have been looking. They're at the third right now. Are they looking for any sort of proxy or more like zealots coming or something?
No, it's a bit standard. You just keep one Zergling on the probe. That way, you don't need to like waste any like APM or whatever trying to chase it down. And then you can kind of just leave that. And if the Protoss player becomes idle with it, then they'll lose it. Oh, but we see Hawk kind of running in. So that was kind of why he was keeping one Zergling on the probe. See if he can get a quick run by. And this requires drag to kind of go back to his base. So if I was Dragon here, I would not send all of the Zealots back. I would probably just send one Zealot back and continue pushing forward with the other 2, which tends to sometimes catch Zergs off guard because they will think, okay, all his units are here at the base, I'm fine, I can drone up. But then you show up with like 2 more Zealots at his base.
Yeah, I didn't quite catch what happened there, but the lings just waltz in just for free, and I think if I counted correctly, they got 2 probes already. So, but we see drones hatching back at base for Hawk, so I think he's going to be content with just the classic run around with the lings until I don't know, a cannon pops up, or maybe it's going to take a long time for these lings to go out, and I think he's going to constantly look for probes to pick off. Yeah, I mean, how
Yeah.
how annoying is this as a Protoss player? I imagine it's pretty annoying, but
Yeah, it's terrible. And when the speed kicks in, I mean, if you face a really good Zerg with like really good multitasking, I mean, they can just totally cripple you. I actually had the opportunity to play Larva once, actually, and he got 2 Zerglings in with speed in this similar position, and I remember just GGing because he just totally crippled me with just 2 Zerglings alone.
yeah, I think I don't know how good the Hawk's multitask / APM is, but so far he's kept the lings alive. Maybe he hasn't taken out another probe just yet, but meanwhile, Dragon's heading on the offense. It looks like a couple of few zealots and a probe actually heading over. So he's just gonna start fighting the Lings, I guess. Maybe Hawk's busy. So what do you think of this attack? I mean, is this catching Hawk off guard or?
Yeah, I think it is, and it's kind of similar to what I was saying, which is the Zerg sometimes gets too hyped up that wow, I've got Zerglings in his base, right? And they forget that Protoss can come right through the front. So
Yeah, sure, but well, it looks like Hawk managed to deal with that. Oh, another result hidden over there, tucked away at the third. Um, yeah, so well, still Hawk managed to deal with that. I think relatively well. Lings, I'm not sure if he got an extra probe. That's 2 kills on one Ling. I'm not sure how many kills the other Ling has. Um, well, that's another probe. Okay, so what do you think right now? Is Hawk pulling significantly ahead, or is this still just quite even?
uh, no, Hawk is quite ahead. Hawk is actually truly ahead here because I mean it's well into 6 minutes into the game, and he still doesn't even have his target completed. So that's very behind for Hawk. I mean for Dragon, sorry. So yeah, I think Hawk's sitting pretty right now.
Yeah, Hawk getting a single Ling getting a probe kill here. That's yeah. I think Dragon might have just a little bit of a hard time keeping up with these Lings running around. And yeah, I think we saw that. Yeah, the Spire is already done, and if usually we have the Corsair out. The Corsair has the time to at least kill an Overlord. That's how I always. That's how I can see the relative timings here, but right now, Spire is already done, so Corsair won't be able to do a whole lot, I think. Um, so from here, Dragon, I mean, what do you think he needs to do?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's two options really. It's one, either you just go for the old faithful, slap down 9 gateways, hold your probes a little bit, and just go for the massive attack, or two, you play a little bit defensive and try to secure a third and kind of try to play it out.
We saw the Corsair, I think, got a good, still managed to get a good scout off, so the Scourgers weren't out just yet. Yeah, so a couple of Zealots moving out again. I think Dragon has to be a little bit careful. He's getting surrounded here, but +1 Zealots, yeah, as we can see, they'll deal with these Zealots. I mean, deal with these Lings fairly easily. Looks like Hawk's looking to take a fourth base, perhaps. Hydra's maybe morphing. We'll have to see.
Yeah, this is a good attack right here by Drag. I would want to see him pull back now though, so he does not waste these few zealots. Wait for some reinforcements and then go in, because there's no way he can get anything done here. And if he wastes these, that's going to give Hawk an opportunity to jump back on the offensive.
Yeah, he's running in. I think he sees the situation at the third, and he's not too happy with what he sees, so he tries to get out. But these Zealots don't have speed. Well, the Hydras do, I think, so he might just get hunted down. And yeah, it looks like they're just gonna go down. And
yeah, see, this hurts because now Drag loses a lot more of his just map presence. And you can see Drag, he's kind of going up to, what is it, 6 gates now, I think, in total. And so I'm sure he's going to add 2 more gates soon. And I think Drag's going to go for the 2 base push and just kind of the Hail Mary almost.
yeah, that's what it looks like. Hawk going for getting his fourth up. So yeah, I think it's a situation that we've seen quite a few times already today. The Protoss being stuck on 2 bases and the Zerg just getting a third, a fourth. And maybe we'll see Dragon even get contained if he can't move out fast
Yeah, and I think we need to see, did Hawk actually go for a Spire here? Because, of course he had a Spire, sorry, Muta switch. Because if he does switch to Mutas here, Drag's going to be in trouble because I don't see any more Corsairs.
Yeah, that's right. I think we just saw the one, right? And then he has kept it back.
And I think Drag's in some trouble here. I mean, I think Drag's chance is just that. It's just the two base push. I think he added the 7th and the 8th gateway now as well. Yep, 7 and 8 and 9. So he is going. So that's 4. Yeah, he has 9 because he has 2 at the. Oh, that died. Okay, so 8 gate total. Still, yeah, Drag's just going for it.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned this earlier in the cast, but I mean, is this purely all in? Is he gonna try to launch a huge attack and try to cripple Hawk, and then behind that double expand? Um,
Yeah, I think that's the play. I think you go super strong, 8 gate, 9 gate, whatever you decide. Get back on the map, get some presence on the map. Kill the Zerg if you can, but I think you need to go double expand.
Sure, and we see now Dragon making it to the front, and he takes that was a huge storm, and the Hydras are coming in, and when you have to step into these storms like that, it's a pretty tough spot. But there's so many Zerg units. I mean, oh man, the Zealots are getting spread out a little bit. They're struggling deciding whether to kill drones or Hydras. It looks like they're just gonna do both. Actually, this is a pretty strong attack from Dragon. I'm surprised.
Yeah, really strong. I did not expect this kind of damage. Some pretty good storms, and then these zealots are causing havoc in the drone line. You got a lot of drones so far. Wow, another really great storm there. This did so much more damage than I would have thought. Hawk's Hydralisk were also a bit out of position during this whole thing. They had to come from the left side, which gave Dragon opportunity to make the good storms that he got. So this is great, and now he's taking down the Spire. That's huge. We don't need to worry about Mutalisk anymore, and this will also give Dragon opportunity if he wants to switch into a little bit of shuttle harass as well.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of that. I'm really I'm
Wow.
excited at the prospect of seeing some storm drops maybe.
Great attack. So once he got all that damage in the main, straight over here with another group of Zealots, make the Zerg run back and forth.
Going for the hat.
Really, really smart play by Dragon.
He's gonna get it fairly easily here. The leftover Zealots are actually gonna start fighting the units.
Excellent play by Dragon. I think Dragon now has taken the lead for sure. We have some lurkers out now. I don't know if Dragon has a robotics yet. Any observers? I think Dragon is... Okay, wow. Alright, so Dragon's got the strong 8 gate behind this. His third is going up. And he clearly just made a 2 awesome attacks. So don't count Old Man Drag out. Old Man Drag got many tricks up his sleeves.
Yeah, and I think it all started with the DT heading over to the fort, dragging all those Hydras out of position, and then the attack came at the natural, and then yeah, I mean everything we saw unfold was I think originated with that DT harass, and I'm sure it was very on purpose. You know, that's definitely what his plan was.
Absolutely, and now he's got a really strong Goon HT army. I don't think Hawk's able to do anything here. Don't lose the Observer though to Storm, and your Drag will be fine. Yeah, wow. And I think Dragon has 2-0 upgrades. Oh, 1-1, okay. Still good. Oh, he was not able to get down the Observer right away in time. And
there's so little left for Hawk, yeah, yes.
And there's kind of the double expansion we were talking about. Not exactly double expansion, but more or less, right? So Drag playing it really, really well. I would love to see Dragon throw in a shuttle, drop 1 or 2 Dark Templars off at the main base. That would seal the deal here because he knows there's no more Spire, no more Scourge will be made. You could really wreak a lot of damage at the main with 1 DT.
Yeah, and we see that the fourth isn't saturated at all, and I'm not sure if we saw Spire, and Hawk's just going, I mean, Dragon's just going for it. I think Hawk's just more crippled than we thought, maybe with the, oh man, some huge storms, just completely obliterating these Hydras, and just this almost pure goon army is heading down, and I mean, can Hawk stop this? There's an Observer. It looks like Dragon has all his bases covered here.
Yeah, and I think Drag is gonna take the victory here. I'm sure there's a bunch of Zealots just rallying to the base to back up these Dragoons. And now look at the supply difference. You know, he's got double Hawk's supply. Hawk's 4th base is going down here. It's I think we'll see a GG very soon for Puck here. Drag
Yeah,
was behind a lot and turned the tide with one really nice attack.
yeah. I'm also impressed by his macro. I mean, I don't know. It felt like 9 gates off of 2 bases wasn't quite viable, and would kind of like he wouldn't be able to macro out everything. But it looks like his supply just shot up, and everything was timed correctly. It's really impressive from Dragon.
And there's a GG, and wow, really good game by Dragon there. Really came back, man. When those Zerglings were in the base and he lost like, I don't even know how many probes he lost. He lost like 6, 7 probes, but
Yeah, he lost a lot. Yeah.
great play.
Yeah, really impressive. Although overall, I mean, if you see Dragon coming out on top, I think it's yeah, it could it's a very reasonable outcome to this qualifier.
Absolutely. Wow. Well, congrats to Dragon. He wins this qualifier, first place.
Yeah, so just to recap, we have Dragon out of this qualifier as a first in first place. Then we have Hawk, Gypsy, and Tim. So these 4 players advance to the main event. The main event being what we'll see starting February 5th. That's going to be the first. We'll have Group A, Group B, Group C, and Group D. We also have a group selection that's on January 29th. And then the whole month of March, every week we'll have round of 8. First 2 weeks will be round of 8, then we'll have the semis, and then we'll have the finals on March 26th.
Yep. And next week, guys, please, if you haven't participated, even if you think you don't have a chance to qualify, get in there. It's fun either way. But next week, Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern, so that's going to be January 22nd, 8 p.m. Eastern, or January 23rd at 2 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. So the next third and fourth qualifiers will be then. So yeah, try to make it, try to play.